Beloved, money is never absent in spirit. What looks like lack in the outer world is only an illusion. At the very moment you think you have nothing, heaven has already prepared your supply. But here is the truth many forget. Supply does not come through worry, through panic, or through fear. Supply answers only to faith, and faith speaks through words. Your words are not empty sounds. They are commands written upon the air. When you declare lack, you build lack. When you declare abundance, you open the gates of provision. The world may say, "You are broke." But heaven says, "You are provided for." The choice of which voice you agree with rests upon your tongue. I tell you today, when you do not have money, you are not helpless. You are not abandoned. You are one decree away from turning the tide. One spoken word of faith can cancel 1,000 fears. 4 words, spoken with conviction, can shift the atmosphere around you. These 4 words are not a formula. They are not a trick. They are truth itself. Speak them, believe them, feel them, and supply must obey. Beloved, lean in, for I will reveal them to you. And once you know, you will never look at lack the same again. Beloved, words are the substance of creation. Every tree, every star, every breath of wind was first spoken into existence by the Word. The Bible declares, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." If all that exists was born from a word, how much more must your daily words shape the life you live? When you do not have money, the temptation is to say what you see. "I am broke. I cannot afford this. I never have enough." But hear me, those words are not innocent. They are decrees. Each time you speak them, you call lack into your atmosphere. Your tongue is the pen, and your life is the paper. What you write upon it, you must read. What you speak into it, you must live. This is why so many live in cycles of shortage. They pray for provision, yet every hour they confess lack. They ask for abundance, yet with their next breath they declare poverty. Spirit cannot contradict your own decree. Heaven moves in agreement with faith, not fear. And every careless word is a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious. Sow broke, and you will reap broke. Sow never enough, and you will reap never enough. A Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can change his conditions by changing his words." She did not say by force, or by struggle, or by endless worry. She said by words. Because words are not small things, beloved. Words are vibrations, and vibration attracts form. Speak of shortage, and shortage is drawn to you. Speak of supply, and supply finds you without delay. Think of it this way. Your words are like doors. Each one you speak either opens a door to blessing or bolts it shut. When you say, "I cannot afford it," you slam a door in the face of opportunity. When you say, "I never have enough," you lock yourself out of abundance. But when you say, "God is my supply," you throw open the gates of heaven. You allow provision to march in because your word aligns with divine law. Let me give you a picture. Imagine standing in a garden with a watering can in your hand. Each word you speak is a drop of water. If you water weeds, worry, fear, doubt, they will grow taller, faster, stronger. But if you water seeds of truth, faith, abundance, prosperity, those flowers will bloom. The garden does not choose for you. The soil does not argue. It simply grows what you plant. So it is with life. Your life does not argue with your words. It multiplies them. Beloved, I ask you, what are you watering each day? Are you feeding the weeds of lack with constant worry, constant talk of shortage, constant sighs of defeat, or are you watering the seeds of abundance with decrees of faith? Now hear me clearly. This is not about pretending you have money you do not see. It is about choosing which reality you will align with, the temporary illusion of lack or the eternal truth of supply. When you say, "I am broke," you bow before the illusion. When you say, "God is my supply," you align with eternal truth. One is worship at the altar of fear. The other is worship at the throne of faith. And do not say, "But Florence, I must be realistic." Beloved, what is reality? Is it the fleeting number on a bank statement, or is it the eternal promise that my God shall supply all your need? Which has more weight, a passing figure or an unbreakable law? Realism is not repeating what fear shows you. Realism is standing on the rock of truth when all else shakes. This is why your words matter most when money is absent. Anyone can speak abundance when the purse is full. True faith is proven when the purse is empty, and yet the tongue declares, I am rich in spirit, and my supply is on its way. That decree pulls unseen supply into sight. That decree shifts atmosphere, rearranges circumstances, and commands money to appear in perfect timing. So guard your lips, beloved. Speak not lack, even in jest. Speak not shortage, even in passing. Every word is a seed, every word is a decree, every word is a door. And today you must decide which harvest you want to reap, which law you want to enforce, which door you want to open. Let us seal this with practice. Say with me, I never speak lack. I only speak supply. My words are doors to abundance, and today I open them wide. I decree that money flows to me under grace and in perfect ways. Beloved, we have come to the heart of this message. I told you that when you do not have money, you are not powerless. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are one decree away from provision, and that decree is captured in 4 simple words. 4 words that turn fear into faith, stress into peace, lack into supply. 4 words that open the windows of heaven and command angels of abundance to move on your behalf. These words are not mine, they are eternal. They are not a trick, they are truth. The 4 words are God is my supply. Say them now, slowly, with reverence. God is my supply, not man, not wages, not banks, not circumstances, not luck, not chance. God is my supply. The moment these words leave your lips with faith, the atmosphere begins to shift. Fear loosens its grip, stress weakens. Doubt trembles, for you have turned your attention away from the illusion of lack and fixed it on the eternal source. Most people see money as their supply. They say, if only I had more money, I would be safe. But money is not the source. It is only a channel. Channels may open and close, but the source never runs dry. If one door shuts, another opens. If one stream ends, another begins. You are never without because God is your supply and God is endless. The Apostle Paul declared, My God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Notice, he did not say some of your need. He did not say only the small needs. He said all your need. That means bills, debts, rent, food, clothing, opportunities. All are included in all. And how are they supplied? Not by the limits of earth, but by the riches of heaven. That is why the 4 words carry such weight. They remind you that supply is not bound by numbers on a screen or dollars in a wallet. Supply comes from a source greater than banks, greater than jobs, greater than governments. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that when you say, God is my supply, you cut off the cords of fear that tie you to man as your source. You release the stress of thinking you must figure it all out yourself. You rest in the knowledge that Spirit already knows your need, already prepared your answer, already sent your supply. These words shift the burden from your shoulders to the everlasting arms. Now let me show you how to use them. Do not whisper them with doubt. Do not mumble them as a last resort. Speak them with authority. Each time a bill arrives, lay your hand upon it and declare, God is my supply. Each time you feel the pang of fear about money, stop and say aloud, God is my supply. Each morning before you face the world, speak into the air around you, God is my supply. And do not only say them, feel them. Let peace rise in your chest as you declare them. Let the tension leave your shoulders as you remember you are not your own provider. Let joy bubble up as you realize that money is not your master, God is. And God is generous, faithful, unchanging, abundant. Beloved, I tell you, this one soul who declares, God is my supply, with faith can change their entire destiny. Doors will open that seemed shut. Unexpected money will appear in perfect timing. Opportunities will chase you down. People will bless you without knowing why. Why? Because your decree shifts your vibration, and the law of attraction answers it. Fear attracts lack, but faith attracts supply. These 4 words are your key. Repeat them until they become your instinct. Say them when fear rises in the night. Say them when doubt whispers in the morning. Say them when others around you complain of shortage. While the world speaks of recession, you speak of supply. While others say, we are broke, you say, God is my supply. While the outer world shakes, you stand unshaken, because your source is eternal. So let us speak it now as a decree, not once, but 3 times to seal it. God is my supply. God is my supply. God is my supply. And so it is. Beloved, words alone are mighty, but when words are clothed in vision and feeling, they become unstoppable. The 4 words, God is my supply, carry the full force of heaven, yet to speak them without vision is like planting a seed and never watering it. To speak them with vision and feeling is to watch that seed sprout, bloom, and bear fruit. So let us go deeper. The moment you say, God is my supply, close your eyes and see it. See yourself surrounded not by lack, but by light. See streams of golden abundance flowing toward you from every direction. Unexpected checks in the mail, opportunities opening like flowers, bills stamped paid in full. Picture your wallet not empty but full. See your bank account not dwindling but multiplying. As you speak, paint pictures on the canvas of your mind that agree with your decree. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving." This is why many prayers go unanswered. They beg for abundance but inwardly picture lack. They speak words of prosperity but still see themselves as poor. Their words and their visions are divided, and a divided house cannot stand. But when your word and your vision are one, manifestation must follow. So let us practice together. Say aloud, God is my supply. Now close your eyes and imagine yourself walking into a store without worry. You see what you desire, you purchase it with peace, you walk out with joy. There is no anxiety, no doubt, no heaviness, only freedom. Now say again, God is my supply. This time, imagine sitting at your table, bills before you. One by one, you see them stamped paid in full. Relief washes over you. Your shoulders drop, your chest opens, your heart rests. That is the feeling of truth taking root. Beloved, the mind is a projector. Whatever film you place inside it, life will play upon the screen of your affairs. If you run reels of lack, life will show lack. If you play reels of provision, life will show provision. This is why visualization is holy work. It is not fantasy, it is prophecy. It is the rehearsal of faith until faith becomes fact. The more vividly you see it, the faster it comes. Feel the weight of money in your hands. Hear the sound of gratitude in your voice as you say, "Thank you, God. My supply is endless." Smell the freshness of freedom when you know every need is met. Taste the sweetness of life without stress. Do not leave any sense untouched. Let your entire being agree with your decree. And let gratitude be your seal. Gratitude is proof of belief. You do not thank for what you doubt, you thank for what you know is yours. Each time you say, God is my supply, follow it with a simple, thank you. Thank you that it is done. Thank you that I am provided for. Thank you that supply flows now. Gratitude is the final brushstroke that completes the painting. Beloved, this practice is not to be done once and forgotten. It must become your rhythm. In the morning, before your feet touch the floor, declare, God is my supply, and see your day unfolding in abundance. During the day, whenever stress arises, pause, speak the 4 words, and replace the picture of lack with a vision of overflow. At night before sleep, whisper, God is my supply, and drift into dreams where every need is already met. If you do this faithfully, you will notice a shift. The anxiety will fade, replaced by calm. The panic will dissolve, replaced by peace, and soon the outer world will rearrange itself to match the inner truth. Opportunities will appear. Money will arrive. Solutions will present themselves. For the law is unbreakable as within, so without. So let us seal this section with a decree of vision. Place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and say slowly, God is my supply. I see myself rich. I see myself free. I see my bills paid, my wallet full, my bank account overflowing. I feel peace in my soul, joy in my heart, and abundance in my life. God is my supply, and I am provided for under grace and in perfect ways. Say it until the picture becomes more real than the fear. For the picture you hold is the life you will live. Beloved, truth is not a one-time act, it is a daily walk. Just as you eat daily to sustain your body, so must you speak and decree daily to sustain your spirit. The 4 words, God is my supply, are not meant to be spoken once and forgotten. They are your bread, your water, your shield, your sword. The more you repeat them with faith, the more they saturate your subconscious until fear has no place to hide. Florence Scovel Shin often said, Your word is your wand. But a wand in the drawer has no power. It must be lifted, swung, and used. In the same way, your daily practice of affirmations is the lifting of your wand, the wielding of your authority, the aligning of your life with divine law. So let us make a pattern. In the morning, before the noise of the world begins, rise and speak these 4 words aloud 3 times. God is my supply. God is my supply. God is my supply. Do not rush them. Speak slowly with reverence, as though angels are listening, and they are. As you speak, see your day unfolding in provision. Picture yourself walking in peace, every need met before it arises. This is how you clothe yourself for the day, not only with garments but with decree. During the day, carry these words as a shield. When fear whispers, answer at once. When doubt knocks, respond with certainty. If you are at the grocery store and worry stirs, pause and say softly, God is my supply. If you see a bill and feel panic rise, place your hand upon it and declare, God is my supply. Each repetition drives the truth deeper, like hammering a nail into solid wood until it holds firm. You may even create variations of the decree to keep your practice alive and flowing. God is my supply, and my supply is endless. God is my supply, and my money comes under grace. God is my supply, and I never stress about money. God is my supply, and all my needs are already met. But each variation is like a different note in the same melody. Together they form a song of abundance that plays in your soul all day long. At night, as you prepare for sleep, let these words be the last upon your lips. God is my supply. Whisper them until your body rests and your spirit drifts into dreams. For even in the night, your subconscious listens, and when it hears faith, it works through the dark hours to arrange your affairs in perfect ways. Many have awakened after such practice to find unexpected provision waiting. Letters in the mail, opportunities offered, money arriving without effort. Why? Because while they rested, their decree was working. Beloved, do not underestimate the power of consistency. A single seed planted may sprout, but a garden watered daily will bloom in beauty. A word spoken once may inspire, but a word spoken daily will transform. The more you repeat, the stronger the truth becomes in you, until fear cannot find entry and stress has no foothold. Make these 4 words your rhythm. Write them upon slips of paper and place them where your eyes will fall, on your mirror, your desk, your wallet. Record them in your voice and play them as you drive. Whisper them under your breath as you walk. Let no day pass without hearing them in your own voice, for your own voice carries the most authority over your subconscious. And remember, beloved, this practice is not begging God to give you something He has withheld. It is reminding yourself of what has always been true. You are not trying to convince God. You are convincing your own heart. God has never stopped being your supply. Only fear blinded you. Only stress deceived you. Only doubt whispered otherwise. Each repetition of these 4 words clears away the illusion and reveals the truth. So let us seal this practice now with decree. Place your hand upon your heart and say aloud, God is my supply. I rise in supply, I walk in supply, I sleep in supply. I am never late, I am never lacking, for my supply is endless, secure, and always on time. God is my supply, and I am rich in faith, rich in peace, rich in provision. Speak this morning and night in calm and storm, in need and in plenty. Make it your breath, your song, your shield. And soon you will see that the words were never empty. They were law, waiting to be spoken. Beloved, we have walked the path together. We have unmasked stress as a false god, exposed fear as inverted faith, and revealed the power of decree. We have spoken of the law of substitution. We have painted visions of overflow. We have practiced daily affirmations. And now we arrive at the summit, the final decree. This is the moment you seal the truth upon your heart so deeply that no whisper of lack can uproot it. The 4 words you have learned, God is my supply, are not a charm, not a trick, not an empty phrase. They are eternal law. They are a covenant between your soul and spirit. They are the key that unlocks every door, the staff that parts every sea, the light that dissolves every shadow of lack. When you speak them, you do not speak as a beggar. You speak as a child of the King. When you decree them, you do not plead for scraps. You claim the banquet already prepared for you before the foundation of the world. So let us lift our voices now in decree. Say with me, slowly, firmly, with authority, God is my supply. My supply is endless, secure, and always on time. I do not fear lack, for lack is an illusion. I do not bow to stress, for stress is a false master. I walk in peace, I walk in abundance, I walk in divine provision. God is my supply, and money comes to me easily, effortlessly, and under grace. Every bill is paid, every need is met, every desire is fulfilled in perfect ways. Pause, breathe, and feel it. Let the words settle into your chest like anchors of truth. Stress may knock at the door tomorrow, but your decree will answer. Doubt may whisper in the night, but your decree will silence it. Fear may try to paint shadows, but your decree will flood them with light. Beloved, decree is more than sound. It is a shift of ownership. When you say, God is my supply, you hand over the burden of provision to the source that never fails. You lay down the heavy yoke of self-reliance and take up the light yoke of faith. You step out of anxiety and into alignment, out of stress and into rest, out of fear and into certainty. And let us go further. Let us decree not only for this moment, but for every moment to come. Say with me, God is my supply in the morning when I rise. God is my supply in the day as I work. God is my supply in the night as I rest. God is my supply when bills arrive. God is my supply when opportunities appear. God is my supply in lean times and in times of plenty. God is my supply yesterday, today, and forevermore. Do you feel the power of repetition? Each line carves deeper grooves of truth into your mind. Each decree clears away the weeds of fear and plants seeds of faith. Soon, those seeds will sprout, and your life will overflow with visible proof of what your words have declared. Now, beloved, hear me clearly. The decree does not mean you will never face a bill, never see a challenge, never meet a moment of uncertainty. But it does mean that in every situation, you will stand unshaken. For your source is not the bill, your source is God. Your source is not the challenge, your source is God. Your source is not the shifting winds of circumstance. Your source is the unchanging fountain of spirit. So go forth with confidence. When others complain of shortage, let your lips declare, God is my supply. When the world trembles in fear of recession, let your heart rest in abundance. When you feel the old reflex of worry rise, stop it at once with your decree. Do not wrestle with shadows. Shine the light of truth until they flee. Let us seal this message one final time. Say with me with authority and conviction, God is my supply. I am rich in faith, rich in peace, rich in provision. My supply is endless, my prosperity secure, my abundance flowing. I never stress about money, for I live under grace and in perfect ways. God is my supply now and forevermore. And so it is. Beloved, walk from this place in peace. Walk as one who is already provided for. Walk as one who has released stress, released fear, released lack. For the decree has gone forth, and it will not return void. Money is on its way. Supply is flowing now, and every step you take is surrounded by the truth that cannot be broken. God is your supply, and so
there is a divine intelligence in the universe that hears every word we speak and answers every vibration we send forth. Money, too, is part of that living current of intelligence. It is not cold metal or lifeless paper, but a responsive energy, sensitive to thought, tone, and intention. When we speak of money as though it were distant, scarce, or difficult to attain, it obeys our command and stays away. But when we call it lovingly, when we speak its name with assurance, as though summoning a trusted friend, it hears us and comes swiftly, joyfully, and in perfect order. Money has ears, not physical ears, but the subtle hearing of vibration. It listens to the frequency of our words, the rhythm of our emotions, and the melody of our beliefs. When we say, I never have enough, money quietly bows and withdraws. When we say, I am a magnet for abundance, money flows to me easily and constantly. The invisible substance of supply begins to stir and move toward us, finding channels, opportunities, and blessings to deliver what we have already claimed in spirit. Every word is a seed, and money, like fertile soil, receives our spoken word and brings it to life. The careless word of lack plants weeds. The deliberate word of prosperity plants flowers. The universe cannot differentiate between jest or seriousness. It only echoes what it hears. Thus, when we speak, we must speak with divine authority, knowing that money listens. Say its name with love, not fear. Call it forth with confidence, not desperation. Say, "Money, you are welcome in my life. You are a servant of good, and you come in increasing measure to bless and to expand every good thing I do." Money delights in order and purpose. It hastens toward those who use it wisely and speak of it honorably. The soul that sees money as a channel of divine circulation will never be without it, for what is honored multiplies. The individual who sees money as selfish gain or as a master rather than a servant chases it endlessly but never holds it. We must remember, money belongs to the realm of spirit, and spirit is never poor. When we align with this truth, when our words become the words of faith and gratitude, we tune our lives to the frequency where wealth abides. Let us then begin to speak to our money as we would to a faithful friend. Let us say, "Money, you are divine energy in form. You are the echo of my creative thought. You hear me when I call, and you respond to my faith." Speak this with calm assurance, for every syllable spoken in truth vibrates through the unseen, and the unseen rushes to fulfill the spoken word. Money has ears, and it listens for the voice that calls it by name with joy, confidence, and gratitude. Money is living energy that responds to thought and vibration. It is not an inanimate object, not a pile of metal or paper devoid of soul. Money is spirit in motion, clothed in form for human use. It flows, it circulates, it listens, it feels, it responds to the consciousness that calls it forth, and it always returns to the vibration from which it came. When we look at money as mere currency, we see only the surface. But beneath that surface lies a living pulse, a rhythm that matches the heartbeat of the universe itself. Everything that exists is energy, and money is no exception. It is energy given shape, a physical reflection of our mental and spiritual relationship with abundance. Every thought we think about money sends out a vibration. These vibrations create a magnetic field around us, drawing to us experiences that match the quality of our inner dialogue. When we think of money with gratitude, reverence, and confidence, we tune our vibration to the frequency of abundance, and money flows to us naturally. When we think of it with fear, resentment, or guilt, we block its path, and it withdraws. For it will not remain where it is not respected or welcomed. The laws that govern energy are the same laws that govern money. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. If we treat money as a living energy, we learn to transform our scarcity into sufficiency, our doubt into faith, our anxiety into calm assurance. The invisible world rules the visible one. Before money appears in the hand, it has already existed in the mind. Every fortune begins as an idea, every increase as a shift in consciousness. When a person aligns their thought with the idea that money is a friend, a willing servant of good, it begins to move in their direction through means both expected and unexpected. The universe rearranges itself to support the vibration that has been set in motion. Those who understand this truth never chase money, they attract it. They know that it is drawn by the magnet of belief, not by the struggle of effort. When you look at money and say, "You are divine energy in form," you awaken its responsiveness. You speak to the essence behind the symbol. You no longer see it as something separate from yourself, but as part of the same spiritual current that animates your life. In this recognition, fear dissolves, for how can one fear that which is part of their own divine flow? Money is not an enemy, nor a test, nor a temptation. It is energy seeking to express the divine law of circulation. It desires to move, to serve, to build, to bless. When it is held in fear, it stagnates. When it is used in love, it multiplies. Thought is creative substance. Every mental picture, every spoken word, every emotion charged with intention shapes the unseen energy around us. When we think, "Money is hard to get," we project resistance into the flow of supply. When we affirm, "Money flows to me easily and constantly," We open channels through which divine energy can reach us. The universe does not withhold, it only mirrors. Money, being energy, simply takes the shape of our dominant belief. It obeys the tone of our inner vibration. To master money is to master vibration. To master vibration is to master thought. Imagine two people standing side by side. One holds the belief that money is difficult, scarce, and must be chased. The other believes money is plentiful, cooperative, and joyfully responsive. Both live under the same economic conditions, the same world, the same opportunities. Yet their experiences will be vastly different, because one is in harmony with the energy of flow and the other is in discord. Money, as energy, gravitates toward harmony. It listens not to complaints or reasoning, but to vibration. It moves where it is invited, through love, gratitude, and purpose. Energy cannot lie. It vibrates at the frequency of truth. If you speak words of abundance but carry thoughts of doubt, the vibration of doubt will dominate, for the universe responds to feeling more than language. You cannot deceive money, for money is energy, and energy knows authenticity. It reads the unspoken tone of your heart. This is why it is vital to align emotion with affirmation, to feel wealthy, even when appearances suggest otherwise. Feelings are the language money understands best. Feel prosperity in the smallest blessings, and greater ones will find you. Money mirrors consciousness. It does not make a person generous or greedy, it magnifies the energy already within them. If a person is fearful, more money often amplifies that fear. If one is loving and purposeful, more money magnifies their ability to bless and uplift others. Because it is energy, money must be directed consciously. When you see it as divine substance, you handle it with care and joy. You become a faithful steward of energy, allowing it to circulate freely without clinging or hoarding. You bless it as it comes in, and you bless it as it goes out, knowing it will return multiplied. To understand money as energy is to enter into a new relationship with it. No longer do you chase or control it. You harmonize with it. You learn to listen to the subtle movements of intuition, the divine guidance that whispers the next inspired action. The person who listens inwardly and acts in alignment with intuition moves with the current of abundance. They do not struggle, they attract. They do not plead, they command gently through faith. Money, like all energy, loves direction. It loves clarity, purpose, and certainty. It resists confusion and chaos. When you are clear about your purpose, your use of money, and your gratitude for it, you become a strong magnet in the field of supply. Everything vibrates, and vibration responds to vibration. Thought is the tuning fork that sets the rhythm of our experience. The vibration of lack calls for lack. The vibration of plenty calls for plenty. This is not superstition, but divine law in action. Just as music responds to tone, so does money respond to consciousness. When the heart is tuned to gratitude, when the mind is fixed on faith, when the tongue speaks words of abundance, the entire being becomes a harmonious instrument in the symphony of supply. Money flows naturally toward such harmony because it seeks its own likeness. Abundance calls to abundance. The more we understand that money is alive, the more we treat it with respect and awareness. We cease to speak of it in terms of worry or resentment. We no longer say, "I can't afford this," but instead, "I choose to use my money wisely, and more flows to me as I need it." Such language carries a higher vibration. It speaks from mastery rather than limitation. Money, being energy, gravitates toward mastery, for mastery is order and order is harmony. The universe always rewards harmony. To think of money as energy is to free ourselves from the bondage of material illusion. It shifts our perception from matter to spirit. It teaches us that supply is never external. It is the outpicturing of our inner state. The river of wealth flows through consciousness first, then through circumstances. When we recognize this, we stop struggling and start aligning. We no longer force money to come, we allow it to come. Allowing is the art of faith. the quiet assurance that energy responds to vibration without fail. Money is living energy that longs to be expressed through us for good. It is the song of exchange, the rhythm of giving and receiving, the dance between spirit and form. When we honor it as such, it becomes our companion, our instrument of blessing, our faithful reflection of divine abundance made visible. Words of lack repel money. Words of faith attract it. Every syllable we utter carries a vibration, and that vibration sets in motion unseen forces that either draw abundance toward us or push it away. Words are not mere sounds. They are living forms of energy that shape the invisible substance of life. When we speak, we are commanding the universe, directing the flow of divine substance that responds faithfully to the tone of our declaration. If our words are colored by doubt, fear, or resentment, that same vibration reflects in our experience. If our words are filled with faith, joy, and expectancy, the vibration becomes magnetic, and everything that corresponds to abundance begins to gather around us. The power of the spoken word is the power of creation itself in action, for speech is thought made audible, and thought is the blueprint of all manifestation. When we say, "I can't afford this," "money never stays with me," or "everything is too expensive," we unknowingly affirm separation from abundance. Such words form barriers, invisible walls that money cannot pass through, because the vibration of lack and the vibration of supply cannot occupy the same space. The universe hears our every declaration and treats it as an order. It is not concerned with whether we are joking, complaining, or simply repeating what we think is true. It only mirrors what we affirm. The individual who constantly speaks of scarcity lives within that vibration, and life, being a faithful mirror, reflects scarcity back to them. On the other hand, the individual who speaks with faith, who declares with quiet certainty, "Money flows to me easily, I always have more than enough," or "Everything I spend returns to me multiplied," sends out a vibration that aligns with abundance itself. These words are creative seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal substance, and they will, in due time, bear fruit according to their kind. Faith-charged words magnetize the energy of money, because money is intelligent energy that listens to the tone of belief more than the logic of circumstance. When we speak from faith, we are speaking the language that the universe understands best. The law of vibration governs everything in existence. Every thought, word, and emotion emits a frequency. Lack and faith are simply two different frequencies. The moment you speak words of lack, you tune yourself to a frequency where abundance cannot reach you. It is as though you turn the dial of your inner receiver to a static channel that blocks out the music of prosperity. But when you speak words of faith, gratitude, and certainty, you tune yourself to the wavelength of supply, and the song of abundance plays through your life with effortless harmony. Words are the tuning fork of reality, and the sound they produce determines what kind of experience echoes back to you. Words of lack do not only repel money, they weaken the spirit. They drain creative power by affirming defeat before the divine law has even had the chance to work. They make the invisible forces of good stand still because they are spoken from disbelief. The person who constantly says, "It's too hard, I never get a break," or "I'm always behind," binds themselves with cords of their own making. These cords are not visible, but they are strong, woven from repeated affirmations of limitation. Each repetition deepens the groove of scarcity in the mind until it becomes habitual. To reverse this pattern, one must consciously choose new words, even before feeling their truth. One must begin to speak faith until faith becomes natural. Say, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect time and order." Say, "Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways." Say, "Divine supply is unlimited and I am aligned with it." These are not idle phrases. They are spiritual commands that shift the vibration of your life. The moment you begin to speak them with sincerity and repetition, the energy around you begins to reorganize itself in accordance with your new vibration. Words of faith are words of power. They do not beg, plead, or hope, they declare. They speak from knowing rather than wanting. When we say, I am prosperous, we are not pretending. We are aligning with the truth that prosperity already exists in the realm of spirit, waiting to manifest. Faith does not concern itself with how or when, it only affirms what is true. Words spoken with faith carry authority because they are in harmony with divine law. They do not strain, they resonate. Money, being energy, feels the difference between the vibration of need and the vibration of faith. Need says, I do not have, and thus declares separation. Faith says, it is already mine, and thus creates unity. The law of attraction, or more accurately, the law of vibration, brings to us not what we want, but what we believe and speak into being. This is why it is essential to guard our words as sacred instruments of creation. Every careless word of complaint, every casual statement of lack, sends a ripple through the substance of life that eventually returns as experience. To speak faith in the midst of apparent lack is the highest form of spiritual mastery. It is to acknowledge that spirit, not matter, is the true source of supply. The one who can say, I am provided for, even when the purse seems empty, has already turned the key in the lock of abundance. For faith is the invisible currency that precedes the visible one. The universe cannot deny a vibration of unwavering faith. Words charged with such certainty open channels where there were none, awaken dormant opportunities, and summon the cooperation of unseen forces. Every word is a decree. When you say, I am broke, the creative energy of the universe obeys. When you say, I am prosperous, it obeys just as faithfully. There is no partiality in divine law. It only mirrors. If we desire abundance, we must speak abundance. If we wish for flow, we must speak flow. Words must become tools of conscious creation rather than weapons of self-sabotage. The tongue can bless or bind, attract or repel, uplift or diminish. Each sentence we utter either builds a bridge to wealth or erects a wall against it. Faithful words create movement. They stir the stagnant energy of fear and set it into circulation. When you speak words like, money flows to me now, I am open to divine increase, or I am worthy of all good, you are not merely talking, you are commanding energy to align. And energy always obeys its commander when the command is clear, confident, and charged with emotion. Feeling is the fuel of creation. Without emotion, words are empty shells. With emotion, they are living decrees. To speak with faith is to feel the truth of your words vibrating in your heart before they are seen by the eyes. Words of lack are rooted in fear, and fear is the great separator. It tells us that supply is limited, that life is uncertain, that we must grasp, hoard, or chase what little we can. But faith knows that the universe is abundant beyond measure, that supply is infinite and ever-flowing, that money is only one form of the divine circulation of good. When we speak from fear, we close the door to that circulation. When we speak from faith, we open it wide. Every word becomes a key, and every key either locks or unlocks the treasury of the universe. It is not enough to think abundance, one must speak it. Thought sets the pattern, but speech gives it form. The spoken word carries vibration through the air, setting off waves that move through the field of energy around us. These waves attract matching frequencies, drawing to us people, opportunities, and experiences that resonate with the tone we have sent out. The person who continually says, I always receive what I need, will, over time, live in the rhythm of that truth. The person who says, nothing ever works out for me, will find their words faithfully echoed in their affairs. Therefore, the wise one speaks carefully, knowing that each word carries weight and power. They refuse to speak lack, even in jest, for they understand that the law of vibration does not recognize humor, it only recognizes frequency. They train their speech to align with abundance until it becomes second nature. Eventually, their words and their reality move in perfect harmony, for what is spoken in faith must manifest, and what is spoken in lack must fade away. Speak to money with love, confidence, and gratitude, for money, like all divine energy, responds to the tone of the heart, more than the sound of the lips. When you speak to it with love, it feels welcomed. When you speak to it with fear or resentment, it withdraws. Love is the highest vibration in the universe, and whatever is spoken in love carries creative power. When you say to your money, "You are my faithful servant," and mean it, you align yourself with the current of abundance. You remove the tension of struggle and open the channel through which supply flows freely. Money desires to be treated as a friend, not as an enemy or a stranger. It longs to be acknowledged, appreciated, and given purpose. Love gives life to every energy, and money, being energy, comes alive under the warmth of love's vibration. Confidence is faith expressed through tone and thought. When you speak to money with confidence, you declare your dominion as a co-creator with divine intelligence. You do not plead or beg for it to come. You summon it with calm assurance, knowing it hears your voice. The one who speaks to money with doubt and apology sends mixed signals to the universe. Money feels the vibration of hesitation and stays away, for it cannot dwell in confusion. But when you speak with confidence, your vibration is steady, clear, and magnetic. You say, "Money, you know me. You recognize my vibration. You flow to me from all directions, easily and harmoniously." Such words carry authority because they are backed by the knowing that divine substance is unlimited and obedient to faith. Gratitude completes the trinity of vibration that draws supply. When you are grateful for what you already have, you create a magnetic field of increase. Gratitude is acknowledgement of divine order, a signal to the universe that you recognize abundance as already present. Money responds to gratitude the way a flower responds to sunlight. It unfolds, multiplies, and continues to grow. When you bless every dollar that comes into your hand, you are saying to the universe, "I am ready for more." When you bless every bill you pay, you say, "I am grateful that I can give." Gratitude transforms every transaction into a spiritual exchange. It changes money from a symbol of worry into a channel of joy. When you speak to money with love, confidence, and gratitude, you create harmony between yourself and the flow of supply. Money becomes your ally, not your master. It becomes a tool through which divine abundance expresses itself. The person who loves money, rightly, not for greed but for its power to serve good, never lacks. Love recognizes the sacredness of all creation, including the energy we call money. To speak lovingly to it is to honor the divine intelligence that formed it. When you say, "Money, you are divine substance in motion, and I welcome you joyfully," you call it forth from the unseen with dignity. The words you speak form a bridge between the invisible and the visible, allowing supply to cross effortlessly into your experience. Love dissolves resistance. Many people repel money without realizing it because they associate it with guilt, shame, or corruption. They have been taught to believe that wealth and spirituality cannot coexist, that money is worldly and dangerous. These thoughts create an inner conflict that keeps abundance at bay. But love heals this conflict. When you speak to money with love, you purify its vibration within your consciousness. You begin to see it not as evil or selfish, but as energy that can bless, uplift, and create beauty. Love sanctifies money, transforming it from a symbol of materialism into an instrument of divine service. Confidence is born from the awareness that you and the universe are one. You cannot truly be confident if you believe in separation, for separation breeds fear. When you realize that money is part of the same divine energy that breathes through you, confidence becomes natural. You know that the flow of supply cannot be interrupted except by your own disbelief. Speaking to money with confidence is not arrogance. It is recognition of spiritual law. You are not commanding money as an inferior. You are directing energy as a co-creator. The tone of your voice, the certainty in your heart, and the conviction in your thought tell money where to go and how to serve. Gratitude amplifies confidence. When you give thanks for every form of supply, visible and invisible, you affirm your faith in the continuity of abundance. Gratitude removes the vibration of need because it declares that the good you desire is already yours. The grateful person never waits to see results before giving thanks. They give thanks first, and results follow. When you bless your money with gratitude, you infuse it with the energy of joy, and that joy multiplies as it circulates. Money that is blessed carries your vibration wherever it goes, attracting more of its kind back to you. Gratitude turns every exchange into a cycle of increase. To speak to money with love is to soften the energy around it. To speak with confidence is to command it. To speak with gratitude is to multiply it. Together, these vibrations create a sacred partnership between you and the divine flow of wealth. You are no longer chasing money, you are dancing with it. You are no longer anxious about where it comes from, you are certain that it comes from the inexhaustible source of good that sustains all life. Love keeps the channel open. Confidence directs the flow. Gratitude accelerates its return. Money listens to the tone of your vibration, not merely the words you say. You could repeat affirmations for hours, but if your heart is heavy with fear, your words will fall flat. But if you speak only a few sentences filled with love, assurance, and appreciation, those words will carry power. They will ripple through the unseen substance of supply and return as visible prosperity. Love charges words with life. Confidence anchors them in authority. Gratitude sends them forth like arrows of light, sure and swift in their aim. When you look at money, whether it is a coin, a note, or a balance on a screen, speak to it as you would to a trusted companion. Say, "I am grateful for your presence. I know you serve good and circulate freely. You flow to me easily and return multiplied as I give." These words create a vibration of mutual respect between you and money. They lift you out of the consciousness of lack and place you in the rhythm of divine exchange. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, until your entire being resonates with abundance. Love removes fear of loss. Confidence removes doubt of ability. Gratitude removes blindness to blessings. When these three qualities are combined in speech, the energy of money becomes harmonious and responsive. It will not resist you, for resistance cannot exist in the presence of love. It will not delay, for confidence removes uncertainty. It will not diminish, for gratitude keeps it multiplying. The laws of spirit are exact. They respond to vibration, not appearance. Speak with love, and the vibration of harmony is set. Speak with confidence, and the vibration of faith is established. Speak with gratitude, and the vibration of increase is activated. Each time you handle money, whether giving or receiving, bless it silently. Speak words of kindness to it. Thank it for the comfort it brings, the opportunities it opens, the good it allows you to create. The energy you send to it will return. The more lovingly you speak to it, the more lovingly it will respond. Love magnetizes. Confidence stabilizes. Gratitude multiplies. Through this trinity, the flow of abundance becomes effortless, natural, and continuous. Because divine energy always responds to those who recognize its sacred nature and speak to it as a friend. Money serves divine purpose when used with wisdom. It is a living stream of energy that flows through human hands, carrying the imprint of intention wherever it goes. When handled with wisdom, it becomes a servant of light, creating harmony, beauty, and progress. When handled without understanding, it becomes tangled in fear, waste, and misuse. The essence of wisdom is alignment with divine order. The recognition that money is not to be hoarded, feared, or idolized, but to be directed, with clarity and love, toward purposeful expression. Money itself has no morality. It takes on the vibration of the one who wields it. In the hands of the wise, it builds. In the hands of the unwise, it stagnates or destroys. Thus, to understand money's divine purpose is to understand our own purpose as co-creators in the divine plan. Money was never meant to enslave humanity. It was meant to serve as a channel of exchange, a symbol of faith and cooperation between souls. Its true function is circulation. Just as blood nourishes the body through its constant movement, so money nourishes the world through its continuous flow. When it is blocked by fear, greed, or misuse, spiritual stagnation follows. When it is guided by wisdom, it fulfills its divine assignment, uplifting, expanding, and creating. Wisdom sees money not as an end, but as a means, a bridge between the invisible idea and its visible manifestation. Through wise use of money, we give substance to inspiration. The artist, the teacher, the builder, the healer. Each uses money as an instrument through which the divine expresses form. Wisdom begins with understanding the law of balance. To give and receive are two sides of the same rhythm. The wise person knows that money must be circulated with joy and purpose, not with fear of loss. Every act of giving sends out a vibration that must return. When we give wisely, in ways that uplift, expand, and bless, we enter into harmony with divine circulation. When we spend with resentment or give with obligation, we interrupt the rhythm of flow. Money responds not to the outer act, but to the inner vibration behind it. The person who gives in love always multiplies. The one who gives in fear always diminishes. Wisdom teaches that money is never truly lost or gained. It only changes form in the divine economy of energy. To use money wisely is to let it reflect divine intention. Wisdom asks before every exchange, does this serve truth? Does it uplift life? Does it expand beauty, peace, or joy? When the answer is yes, the vibration of that act harmonizes with abundance. The money spent or given in such alignment carries a blessing that returns multiplied. But when money is used without consciousness, to satisfy ego, to dominate, to escape, it loses its sacred frequency and becomes entangled in the lower vibrations of fear. Wisdom purifies intention, ensuring that every financial act becomes a spiritual one. Money is divine energy clothed in form, and wisdom recognizes its sacredness. Just as one would not misuse fire but instead harness it for warmth and creation, so must money be respected as a powerful force requiring discernment. When guided by wisdom, money becomes a builder of dreams, a healer of wounds, a messenger of good. It creates opportunities, sustains visions, and spreads comfort. But when ruled by ignorance or selfish desire, it burns away harmony and leaves emptiness in its wake. Thus, wisdom directs while folly reacts. Wisdom channels while fear hoards. The one who uses money wisely walks in peace, for they know that true security lies not in accumulation, but in alignment. The wise understand that money magnifies what already exists within consciousness. It does not change character, it reveals it. If love, generosity, and purpose dwell within, money will amplify them. If greed, fear, or insecurity dominate, money will amplify that as well. This is why wisdom is essential before increase. Without wisdom, abundance becomes a burden. With wisdom, abundance becomes a blessing. To prepare for divine prosperity, one must cultivate inner order. The mind must be trained to think clearly, the emotions to remain steady, and the intentions to be pure. When this inner alignment is achieved, the flow of money becomes natural, effortless, and beneficial to all it touches. Money used with wisdom always serves others while serving oneself. It is not selfish to prosper, for prosperity in the hands of the wise uplifts all. The wise person understands that to hoard wealth is to dam the river of life. Money must circulate, it must move and serve. The more wisely it is directed, the more abundantly it flows. Wisdom therefore teaches generosity, but not waste. Planning, but not fear. Stewardship, but not bondage. Every dollar becomes a seed. The wise plant it where it will grow and multiply good, in education, in creation, in compassion, in vision. The divine purpose of money is expansion, of joy, beauty, knowledge, and service. When you use money to create harmony, you align with universal law. When you use it to separate, dominate, or exploit, you move out of rhythm with that law. Wisdom is the inner compass that keeps you aligned. It whispers, spend here, give here, save here, refrain here, not from fear, but from insight. It sees beyond impulse and listens to divine intuition. Those who are guided by such wisdom find that money always arrives in right measure and at the right time. They live in peace, for their wealth is not their master, but their instrument. To use money wisely is also to honor its presence, keep it in order, treat it respectfully, and manage it with clarity. Disorder in the physical handling of money reflects disorder in consciousness. The wise maintain harmony in their finances as a reflection of their inner alignment. They give thanks for every form of supply, no matter how small, and handle it with the same care they would give to something sacred. For money, when blessed and respected, responds with loyalty. It stays where it is appreciated and departs where it is mistreated. Wisdom also knows that money's purpose is not only to fulfill personal comfort, but to expand collective good. The truly wise understand that they are stewards of divine energy, not owners of it. To hoard for the sake of fear is to deny the law of circulation. To give without discernment is to waste. But to invest, to build, to support, to uplift. These are acts of wisdom that multiply good for all. When money moves under such guidance, it creates ripples of prosperity that touch many lives. It becomes part of a larger rhythm, one that reflects the divine order of the universe. There is no virtue in poverty and no sin in wealth. Both are conditions created by consciousness. The wise understand that abundance is natural, for the universe itself is abundant. They also understand that money, like breath, must flow. To inhale and never exhale would suffocate. To exhale without inhaling would exhaust. Wisdom keeps the rhythm balanced, giving and receiving in equal measure, circulating freely without fear of lack. This rhythm sustains prosperity and peace. Wisdom also protects against misuse. It reminds us that money must never control the spirit or become the measure of worth. When it is used as a tool rather than a master, it remains in harmony with divine law. The wise are detached yet responsible. They enjoy money without dependence, give it without regret, and use it without fear. Their relationship with money is governed by calm awareness rather than emotional impulse. Through this balance, they remain open channels for divine abundance, allowing money to fulfill its true purpose as a servant of good. Money serves divine purpose when used with wisdom, for wisdom keeps it aligned with love, guided by order, and filled with meaning. When we become conscious stewards of this energy, we transform every exchange into an act of creation. We bless as we receive, we uplift as we spend, and we multiply as we give. In this way, money fulfills its sacred role as the current of divine substance flowing through human life, forever responding to the mind and heart that guide it with wisdom and faith. What we honor and bless multiplies. The law of life is increase, and the key that unlocks. That increase is honor. Whatever we appreciate expands, whatever we take for granted diminishes. To honor something is to recognize its divine essence, to see it not as ordinary or mundane but as sacred energy expressing through form. Money, relationships, opportunities, health, or talents all respond to the vibration of honor. When we bless them with gratitude and speak to them with appreciation, they flourish. When we ignore, complain about, or condemn them, they retreat from our experience. Honor is the vibration of respect, and respect opens the channels of abundance. Blessing is the language of gratitude, and gratitude magnetizes increase. Together, they form the spiritual formula for multiplication. When you bless your money, you multiply its energy. When you bless your work expands in value and success. When you bless your home, it becomes a sanctuary of peace. The act of blessing lifts the vibration of any situation or object to its divine potential. It is a silent prayer that says, "I see the good in you. I acknowledge the presence of divine substance here." The universe always responds to recognition. To bless is to call forth the hidden good. Even when appearances suggest lack, struggle, or limitation, blessing transforms the unseen substance behind them. What you bless, you empower. What you curse, you weaken. Words of blessing release creative energy. Words of complaint release resistance. Honor is not mere politeness. It is spiritual understanding in action. It means seeing through the outer shell to the inner reality. To honor money is not to worship it, but to treat it as divine energy clothed in form. To honor your body is not vanity, but gratitude to the divine life that animates it. To honor your work is not pride, but recognition of your role as a co-creator with spirit. Honor sanctifies everything it touches because it lifts perception from the level of ego to the level of truth. When we honor something, we give it permission to express more of its divine nature. The vibration of honor says to the universe, "I am aware of your perfection here," and the universe answers by unfolding more perfection. Many people repel abundance because they do not honor what they already have. They complain about their income, criticize their possessions, or resent their circumstances. In doing so, they unknowingly affirm lack. The law of multiplication cannot operate in an atmosphere of criticism. Blessing and complaint cannot coexist, for they are opposite vibrations. The one who constantly blesses increases. The one who constantly complains decreases. If you bless the money in your wallet, no matter how small, it feels your appreciation and calls its companions to join it. If you bless the food on your table, it seems to stretch further and nourish more deeply. The act of blessing transforms perception, and perception shapes experience. To bless something is to align yourself with divine order. It is to declare that good is present even when it is not yet visible. Every blessing is an act of faith. It says, "I know that the substance of good is here, waiting to unfold." This recognition opens the spiritual gate through which increase flows. Blessing is not an empty ritual. It is a powerful vibration that rearranges the invisible pattern of energy around you. When you bless money, work, people, or situations, you pour divine light upon them, and that light magnetizes new forms of prosperity and peace. Honor begins in the heart. It is a feeling of reverence for the divine presence in all things. The one who lives in honor walks in harmony with life. They see no division between the spiritual and the material, for they know that spirit expresses through all. To honor is to treat everything with respect: time, words, people, possessions. When we handle things carelessly, we send a vibration of disregard into the universe, and the universe mirrors it. When we treat even the smallest coin with mindfulness, we affirm order, and order attracts increase. Honor is also a recognition of relationship. Nothing exists in isolation. Every blessing we receive is part of a greater circulation of good. When we honor this circulation, we stay within the rhythm of abundance. When we dishonor it, by greed, neglect, or misuse, we fall out of rhythm and flow is interrupted. To honor money, we must allow it to move freely. To honor others, we must recognize their divine worth. To honor ourselves, we must remember that we are expressions of the same infinite source. The vibration of honor harmonizes all relationships, for it restores the awareness of unity. Blessing is the active form of honor. When we bless something, we consciously release the energy of love and gratitude toward it. Blessing does not wait for perfection, it calls perfection forth. To bless an empty wallet is to affirm the presence of invisible supply. To bless a difficult situation is to summon divine resolution. To bless someone who has wronged you is to free yourself from the vibration of resentment. Blessing heals by transforming energy. It is the language of the soul that speaks directly to spirit, bypassing limitation and calling forth increase. When you honor and bless consistently, you begin to see multiplication in every area of life. Money seems to flow more freely, opportunities appear effortlessly, relationships become harmonious. This is not coincidence but law. The universe always multiplies the vibration you send out. Blessing money makes it circulate and return. Blessing time expands it. Blessing relationships deepens them. Whatever you bless takes on new vitality. The vibration of blessing carries the frequency of divine love, and love is the greatest multiplier of all. To live in a state of blessing is to live in continuous prayer. Every act becomes sacred when performed with gratitude and awareness. When you clean your home, bless it. When you work, bless your labor and those it serves. When you rest, bless your body for its strength. When you receive money, bless it for its usefulness. When you spend, bless the exchange for enriching both giver and receiver. Each blessing is a seed, and seeds planted in love must yield increase. The law of life cannot be broken. What we honor and bless multiplies. Those who understand this law never fear loss. They know that no good can leave them, for blessing ensures return. When you bless something before releasing it, you set its energy into motion with love, and love must come back multiplied. To release with blessing is to trust divine circulation. You may bless a debt as you pay it, saying, "I bless this payment," and release it into divine order, knowing it returns multiplied as supply. You may bless those who prosper, knowing that their increase signals the same law at work for you. Every blessing, spoken in sincerity, raises your vibration and expands your field of abundance. Honor and blessing together form the magnetic field of prosperity. They dissolve envy, fear, and resentment, the great blockers of flow. They replace comparison with appreciation and competition with cooperation. The heart that blesses sees beauty everywhere, and beauty responds by revealing more of itself. The mind that honors the divine in all things lives in peace, and peace draws prosperity as its reflection. Blessing creates movement. Honor sustains it. The principle is simple, but its application requires mindfulness. We must train ourselves to bless rather than complain, to appreciate rather than criticize, to recognize good rather than search for fault. This is the work of conscious creation. It is not about denying challenges, but about choosing to see divine potential in all things. The moment we bless, we shift our vibration from resistance to allowance. The moment we honor, we move from separation to unity. In that vibration, multiplication becomes natural. Every blessing is a statement of power. It says, "I am aware that divine substance surrounds me and I call it forth now." Every act of honor affirms alignment with divine law. The universe in its perfect justice reflects that vibration without fail. To honor and bless is to live in continual harmony with the current of life. What we honor grows in strength. What we bless returns in greater measure. What we appreciate becomes radiant. The world itself responds to honor and blessing, for these are the language of spirit speaking through the heart of creation.
When you hold a lottery ticket in your hand, it is not just a slip of paper with numbers printed on it. It becomes a mirror of what you truly believe about yourself, your destiny, and the invisible laws that govern your life. Most people approach it with hope tainted by doubt, with excitement dimmed by fear, whispering to themselves, "What if I lose?" But every thought you release before you even scratch the surface of that ticket determines the power you call into your life. Understand this: words are forces, and thoughts are seeds. Every word you speak either summons or repels the very things you desire. Before the ink dries on your expectations, your inner dialogue has already decided the outcome. And this is why what you say before a lottery ticket, what you declare with authority and certainty, can become the gateway to either scarcity or abundance. Think about how most people treat chance. They imagine that luck is random, that fortune is blind, and that wealth lands only on the few who are chosen. But the truth is far different. You are not at the mercy of luck. You are at the mercy of your own consciousness. Every time you affirm lack, every time you whisper, "I never win," every time you dismiss your worthiness, you are writing your own losing ticket long before you purchase one. This is not about gambling. This is not about statistics. This is about aligning with a principle far greater than numbers, the law of expectancy. What you expect, you draw closer. What you fear, you keep alive. What you boldly claim, you set in motion. When you stand in front of a lottery counter, you are not just buying a ticket. You are making a declaration about who you are, what you deserve, and what you believe is possible. The words you say before you hold that ticket matter more than the numbers that appear on it. Those words vibrate, they carry force, and they echo into the unseen dimensions that govern visible results. The person who mutters, "I'll probably lose, but let me try," has already surrendered their power. The person who speaks with clarity and conviction, "I am aligned with wealth, I am open to receive, I stand in the flow of abundance," calls forth a reality that matches their courage. This is why so many never taste victory. They live in contradiction. Desiring wealth but affirming defeat, wishing for freedom while declaring bondage. The universe listens not to their desires, but to their declarations. And every declaration is a seed planted in the soil of destiny. So when you stand before that ticket, recognize the moment for what it is: a test of alignment. A chance to wield the authority of your own voice. Do not squander it with doubt. Do not poison it with fear. Instead, say the words that match the life you are ready to live. Words carry power, speak wealth, not doubt. This truth is far deeper than casual advice. It is a fundamental law that governs the way your life unfolds. Every word that leaves your lips carries an invisible weight. It does not simply vanish into the air once spoken. It imprints itself on your subconscious mind. And through that subconscious mind, it directs your steps, influences your opportunities, and shapes the circumstances you encounter. The spoken word is like a seed cast into the soil of your existence. Some people scatter seeds of poverty and despair without realizing it, while others consciously plant seeds of abundance and possibility. Over time, the harvest of your life reflects the quality of the words you chose to release. Most people underestimate how much power is hidden in what they casually say. They treat words as disposable, tossing them out without intention, without care, without any recognition of their long-term effect. They say, "I never have enough. Nothing ever works for me." Or, "I'm just unlucky." And then they wonder why the very pattern of their life reinforces those same limitations. They think life has been unfair, but in reality, their words have been working faithfully to build a world that matches their own declarations. Doubt spoken aloud becomes a command, and that command is carried out in ways both subtle and profound. When you speak wealth, you are not just playing with empty affirmations. You are setting into motion a vibration, an energetic frequency that attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with the substance of your words. To speak wealth is to declare, "I am ready. I am worthy. I am open to receive." These are not phrases of desperation, they are statements of identity. They shift your inner dialogue from lack to sufficiency, from fear to trust, from smallness to expansion. The moment you say them, you are rewriting the script of your own reality. Consider how quickly a careless word can take root. Someone says, "I can't afford it," not realizing that those words program the subconscious mind to reinforce limitation. The mind will then search for proof to validate that statement. Bills will feel heavier, opportunities will appear out of reach, and even sudden windfalls will vanish quickly, because the internal belief tied to those words ensures the person will continue living in lack. By contrast, when someone speaks with authority, money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. Their subconscious mind begins seeking alignment with that reality. Ideas, connections, and insights that were once invisible start becoming clear. Doors that seemed locked begin to open. The difference lies not in chance, but in choice. The choice of words spoken over one's life. The reason words carry such power is because they bypass logic and embed themselves directly into the deepest layers of your being. You may think you are simply talking, but your words are also instructing your emotions, training your energy, and sculpting your destiny. Every time you speak doubt, you train your nervous system to expect disappointment. Every time you speak wealth, you train your entire being to anticipate prosperity. This anticipation is not passive. It changes your posture, your decisions, your risks, and your courage. It leads you to act in ways that naturally align with growth rather than contraction. It is also important to recognize the difference between speaking wealth from a place of fear and speaking wealth from a place of authority. Fearful speech sounds like begging. Please let me win. Please give me something. It comes from a vibration of lack, and that vibration cannot magnetize abundance. Authoritative speech, however, sounds like command. I am open to receive. I am one with abundance. Wealth belongs to me as naturally as breath. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is not wishful thinking. It is recognition of a truth already available, waiting to be claimed. Think of a child repeating over and over, "I'm not good enough." Over time, those words become cemented in the child's identity. They grow into an adult who unconsciously sabotages their own success, because the words they once repeated built a prison around their potential. Now imagine the opposite. A child who grows up hearing, "You are capable. You are brilliant. You are destined for greatness." Those words become internalized, and that child grows into an adult who naturally assumes opportunity is meant for them. Words do not vanish. They live on. They are stored. They become a script that runs silently beneath every action. So when you say, "Speak wealth, not doubt," it is not just a positive thought. It is a discipline. It is the conscious practice of catching yourself in the act of self-sabotage and redirecting your language toward expansion. It is recognizing when your mouth is reinforcing a lie of lack and immediately replacing it with a declaration of sufficiency. It is choosing to be intentional with your words in the same way a builder is intentional with bricks. No builder carelessly stacks stones without thought, and no individual who seeks abundance should carelessly release words without awareness. Doubt, when spoken, corrodes your faith. It shrinks your possibilities. It sabotages your momentum. But wealth, when spoken, enlarges your perspective. It strengthens your resolve. It magnetizes opportunities. Even before the evidence appears, words create an atmosphere that prepares the soil for manifestation. You cannot harvest abundance in a field where seeds of doubt have been planted. You cannot live in prosperity while speaking poverty. The two cannot coexist. The words you choose act as the architects of the life you either desire or dread. This is why people who continually say, "I never win, I never get ahead, money doesn't stick to me," are always proven right. Not because life is cruel, but because their words are law. The universe, in its precision, delivers them exactly what they have been commanding. And those who speak differently, who declare wealth, who affirm abundance, who speak victory before evidence appears, find themselves drawing in resources and blessings in ways that others call luck, but are in truth the fruit of conscious speech. Your expectations shape the outcome. This truth operates quietly in every area of life, and yet most people walk through their days unaware of how powerfully their inner expectations are scripting their outer reality. Expectation is more than hope. It is not passive or fragile. Expectation is a demand, a signal, a blueprint that your subconscious mind follows with remarkable precision. When you expect failure, you unconsciously lean toward choices that confirm it. When you expect success, you begin to align your actions, your energy, and your words in ways that make success not just possible but inevitable. Every outcome you experience has roots in expectation. Before any result takes form, expectation is already at work, shaping your attitude, influencing your decisions, guiding your focus. People who expect little from life often miss opportunities because they are not prepared to see them. They filter reality through the lens of their own low expectations, dismissing possibilities as too difficult, too unrealistic, or too good to be true. By contrast, those who expect abundance remain open to opportunities, even in places where others see none. Their expectation acts like a magnet, pulling resources, ideas, and people into their orbit. Expectation is not about statistics or probability, it is about belief. Two people can walk into the same situation, face the same odds, and emerge with entirely different outcomes, because one expected disappointment, while the other expected victory. The one who expected disappointment carried that energy like a cloak, sending subtle signals of defeat that shaped the way others responded to them. The one who expected victory radiated confidence, resilience, and openness, qualities that naturally invite cooperation, trust, and favor. The mind has a way of making your expectations come true. If you expect failure, your mind looks for evidence of failure. It draws your attention to obstacles, amplifies every setback, and reinforces the narrative that nothing works out for you. But when you expect success, your mind searches for solutions. It focuses on possibilities, notices opportunities, and gathers evidence that confirms your belief in achievement. This is not imagination. It is the very real way your brain filters and interprets information. Expectation determines the lens through which you see life, and that lens determines the choices you make. Think of someone who buys a lottery ticket while muttering, "I'll probably lose. I never win anyway." That expectation does more than reflect doubt. It sets in motion a chain of inner agreements that align with loss. The act of buying the ticket becomes symbolic, not of possibility, but of resignation. Now imagine someone who buys that same ticket with the declaration, "I am aligned with wealth, I am open to receive." Their expectation is not confined to the ticket itself, it carries into the rest of their life. They walk with a different energy, an openness that welcomes opportunities far beyond the lottery. Even if the ticket does not yield the result, the expectation continues to attract abundance through other channels. Expectation is the architect of behavior. If you expect rejection, you speak timidly, avoid risk, and withdraw before giving yourself a chance. If you expect acceptance, you communicate boldly, step forward with confidence, and seize opportunities that others hesitate to touch. The difference is rarely skill or intelligence, it is the silent but commanding power of expectation. It shapes tone, body language, persistence, and perception in ways that become self-fulfilling. This is why some people seem to live under a cloud of constant disappointment, while others continually rise. Life responds to expectation like a mirror, reflecting back the assumptions you project into it. If you expect joy, you begin to notice joy in small places. If you expect struggle, you find yourself surrounded by endless reasons to validate that belief. The same reality can produce vastly different experiences, depending on the expectations carried into it. Expectation also sets boundaries around what you allow yourself to receive. If you expect small gains, you settle for less than you deserve. You do not pursue larger opportunities, because you do not believe they are for you. If you expect abundance, you allow yourself to aim higher, to demand more, to step into spaces that others shy away from. Expectation becomes the gatekeeper of your destiny, opening doors to greater levels of success or closing them before you even try the handle. The power of expectation is not limited to external outcomes, it also influences your internal state. When you expect good, your nervous system calms, your body relaxes, your mind sharpens. You are more creative, more resilient, more capable of handling setbacks with grace. When you expect bad, your body tenses, your stress levels rise, your vision narrows. You become reactive rather than proactive, defensive rather than open. In this way, expectation not only determines what happens outside you, but also what happens within you. You can see the proof of expectation everywhere. The athlete who expects victory trains differently, plays differently, and endures differently than the one who expects defeat. The student who expects to learn absorbs knowledge more readily than the one who expects to fail. The entrepreneur who expects growth persists through obstacles that would crush someone who expects collapse. These differences are not accidental. They are the natural consequences of the law of expectation. What you expect shapes the outcome, because expectation is faith in motion. It is the invisible contract you sign with the universe, declaring in advance what you are prepared to experience. It is not wishful thinking, it is a command. It tells life what to deliver, and life, in its precision, delivers accordingly. Those who master expectation do not leave results to chance. They write the script in advance and walk into it with certainty. A lottery ticket reflects your inner belief. It is never just a slip of paper with numbers on it, though most people treat it that way. They see only the surface, a printed sequence and the possibility of sudden wealth. But beneath the surface, something more revealing is at play. The way you feel when you buy it, the thoughts you entertain as you hold it, and the words you speak before and after. All of these are reflections of what you truly believe about yourself, about money, and about the life you think you deserve. The ticket itself is neutral. It carries no power apart from the meaning you assign it. What makes it significant is how it mirrors the condition of your consciousness. For one person, the lottery ticket becomes a symbol of desperation. They purchase it with the unspoken thought that this is their only chance to escape lack, that without a miracle, their situation will never improve. That belief seeps into the transaction, and the energy carried into the moment is one of fear, scarcity, and dependence. For another person, the same ticket represents playfulness, curiosity, or an affirmation of abundance. They do not depend on it. They see it as one of many possible channels through which wealth can flow. The belief behind the action is different, and so the energy surrounding it is different. What the ticket reveals is not luck or chance, but the hidden script of the person who holds it. Belief is the root, and the lottery ticket is simply the leaf that shows what is growing beneath the surface. If you believe life is stacked against you, that money is always scarce, that blessings never reach your hands, then buying a ticket only reinforces those inner convictions. You may even say, "I'll never win," or "this is just a waste," and those words expose the belief long before the numbers are drawn. On the other hand, if you believe abundance is natural, if you believe wealth is your birthright, if you believe good flows toward you in endless ways, then the ticket becomes another expression of that belief. Whether or not the ticket brings winnings, the belief it reflects ensures wealth finds its way to you through other channels. This is why two people can stand in the same line, purchase the same kind of ticket, and walk away with entirely different experiences of the same act. One feels hopeless, weighed down, already defeated by their own thoughts. The other feels light, empowered, already in possession of wealth, even before scratching the surface. The ticket does not determine the difference. The numbers do not determine the difference. The inner belief each carries into the moment does. The subconscious mind listens to everything you say and do. When you buy a lottery ticket while declaring, "I never win," your subconscious stores that as truth. It will then seek to confirm that belief in the outer world, not just in gambling but in business, relationships, and opportunities. When you approach the ticket with conviction, saying, "Wealth is drawn to me," your subconscious aligns with that affirmation. It becomes more open, more alert, more willing to notice possibilities and act boldly on them. The ticket becomes a test, a moment that shows whether you are living in alignment with lack or with abundance. Some treat the lottery as their last resort, because deep down, they do not believe they can create wealth in any other way. Their inner belief is that they are powerless, that they are at the mercy of chance. Others treat the lottery as a playful expression, because their inner belief is that wealth is already theirs, and the ticket is just one of many doors that could open. That difference in belief changes not only the emotional tone of the moment, but also the trajectory of their lives. Belief shapes behavior, behavior shapes opportunities, and opportunities shape outcomes. It is not the ticket itself that holds the secret, it is the energy you project onto it. The lottery ticket cannot override your inner belief. If you carry a belief in scarcity, the ticket will echo scarcity. If you carry a belief in abundance, the ticket will echo abundance. This is why some people who win large sums through chance quickly lose it all. They never shifted their inner belief. Their outer world expanded for a moment, but their inner world was still rooted in lack. The subconscious mind, loyal to the inner belief, dismantled the outer gain to bring life back into alignment with the deeper conviction. Belief is always the deciding factor. You cannot draw to yourself anything you do not believe is possible for you. You may desire wealth, you may long for freedom, you may chase after chance. But if you believe you are unworthy of abundance, if you believe money is evil, if you believe good cannot last, then every lottery ticket you buy will only serve as a mirror reflecting those convictions. The numbers are irrelevant, the belief is everything. When you recognize this, the act of holding a ticket takes on new meaning. It becomes an opportunity to examine yourself. What do you feel as you hold it? Do you feel fear? Do you feel excitement? Do you hear the whisper of doubt in your mind? Or do you hear the voice of certainty? The ticket shows you where you stand. It is not the instrument of wealth but the mirror of belief. If you do not like what you see in that reflection, the work is not in the numbers but in yourself. You must shift the belief, and then the reflection will shift accordingly. A lottery ticket is neutral in itself, but it becomes charged with the meaning you give it. That meaning is drawn from your belief system, the deep and often unspoken assumptions that guide your life. If your belief is strong, if it is rooted in abundance and expectancy, the ticket becomes a declaration. If your belief is weak, rooted in fear and scarcity, the ticket becomes a confession of doubt. Either way, it reveals you. It shows you what you truly think is possible, what you truly think you deserve, and what you truly think life will give you. Align declarations with abundance, not fear. Every word you speak plants itself as a command in the soil of your subconscious mind, and from that soil grows the reality you walk in. Most people are unaware that their daily declarations are shaping their destiny. They move through their lives speaking words of limitation, muttering phrases of defeat, declaring lack even as they say they desire abundance. When someone says, "I never win, I can't afford it, money slips through my hands," these are not harmless statements. They are declarations, and each one is charged with emotion, with conviction, and with belief. Over time, these declarations, repeated often and spoken with certainty, build a reality that mirrors them. Fear-based declarations cannot create prosperity. They can only multiply the very conditions you fear. Abundance requires alignment. It is not enough to casually affirm something once or twice while continuing to speak fear the rest of the time. To align your declarations with abundance, you must speak from a place of authority and certainty, not desperation. When you declare abundance, you are not begging or pleading, you are commanding. You are affirming what is already true in the unseen, before it takes form in the seen. Words spoken from fear carry the vibration of lack, and lack cannot attract abundance. Words spoken from alignment carry the vibration of plenty, and plenty recognizes its own and flows toward it. Imagine someone who buys a lottery ticket, but whispers under their breath, "I'll probably lose." That declaration, though small, reveals misalignment. They desire abundance but declare defeat. They want wealth but align their words with lack. The subconscious mind, hearing this, begins to reinforce loss as the expected outcome. Now picture another person who, before holding that same ticket, says with conviction, "I am open to receive. I am aligned with wealth, prosperity flows to me." The declaration is different. It carries no begging, no fear, no contradiction. It aligns the desire with the spoken word. It matches inner belief with outward declaration, and the subconscious mind accepts it as truth, working tirelessly to bring it into form. Fear has many disguises. It can sound humble, it can sound cautious, it can even sound realistic. People will say, "I don't want to expect too much and be disappointed." Or they say, "I know money is hard to come by, but maybe I'll get lucky." These are not harmless phrases. They are fear disguised as prudence. And fear, no matter how softly it is spoken, is still fear. To align declarations with abundance, you must strip away these disguised forms of fear, and speak only what supports prosperity. Saying, "I am wealthy in every area of my life," even before the evidence shows, is not denial of reality. It is a refusal to let fear write your reality. Declarations aligned with abundance are not simply positive words. They carry an energy of certainty. They do not waver between hope and doubt. They do not mix faith with fear. They are steady, firm, spoken with the authority of someone who knows the unseen is more powerful than the seen. When you declare abundance, you are not creating it from nothing. You are aligning yourself with what already exists in the field of possibility. Abundance is always present, but it flows where the channel is clear. Fear clogs the channel. Abundance-filled declarations open it wide. You can test this in your own life. Speak a declaration rooted in fear. Something like, "I hope I don't lose everything," or "I wish I had money, but it never comes." Notice the heaviness it creates in your body, the contraction, the shrinking energy. Then speak a declaration rooted in abundance. Something like, "Wealth flows to me freely, I live in overflow, I am worthy of every blessing." Notice the expansion, the lightness, the sense of possibility it generates. This is alignment. The difference is not in the words alone, but in the vibration behind them. Fear-based declarations contract your life, abundance-based declarations expand it. People often wonder why they affirm prosperity, but still live in lack. The answer lies in alignment. They may say a few affirmations in the morning, but throughout the day, their declarations are filled with fear. They say, "I'll never get out of debt," or "This is too expensive," or "I can't handle this." Each one cancels out the earlier declaration of abundance. The subconscious mind is not confused. It listens to the words spoken most often, and it obeys. If fear outweighs abundance in your declarations, fear will shape the outcome. Aligning declarations with abundance requires consistency. It is a practice, a discipline. It means catching yourself before you release words of lack, and replacing them with words of prosperity. It means refusing to agree with fear, even when circumstances seem to support it. It means speaking as though abundance is already present, because in truth it already is, waiting for your alignment to bring it forth. The more consistent you are, the stronger the belief becomes, and the stronger the belief, the faster the manifestation. The reason alignment matters so much is because words are creative. They are not empty sounds, they are forces. When spoken with conviction, they impress themselves onto the subconscious mind and ripple outward into the unseen, drawing experiences that match their vibration. Fear declares loss and attracts it. Abundance declares wealth and attracts it. The alignment of your declaration determines the harvest you reap. No farmer would plant thorns and expect roses, yet people speak fear and expect prosperity. Only when the declarations align with abundance can the outcome align with wealth. The universe responds to your spoken truth. Every sound that leaves your lips becomes more than air vibrating in space. It becomes a command, a decree, a signal broadcast into the unseen laws that govern the visible world. The words you speak are not accidents, they are living forces, and they do not disappear once they are uttered. They imprint themselves into the fabric of reality, carrying the essence of the belief behind them. When you speak truth rooted in faith, in worthiness, in abundance, the universe aligns itself with your declaration. When you speak truth rooted in fear, in doubt, in unworthiness, the universe also aligns itself with that. It does not judge between the two, it simply responds. Most people underestimate this power. They believe their words are casual, fleeting, without weight. They joke about poverty, complain about lack, repeat phrases of defeat, and assume that nothing comes of it. But every spoken word sets a chain of energy in motion. A careless phrase like "I never win" or "life is always hard" becomes an instruction. And the universe fulfills it with precision. The spoken truth acts as law, shaping circumstances, and pulling into your experience events that mirror your declarations. This is why some people seem to move from one disappointment to another. Their speech has built a reality of disappointment. Others seem to live in a continual flow of opportunities and blessings, because their speech continually calls it in. Spoken truth is powerful, because it bypasses mere thought and takes on form. Thoughts remain within the mind until they are given breath, but once words are spoken, they carry vibration. That vibration interacts with your own subconscious mind, and with the larger field of energy that surrounds all life. When you say, I am open to receive, you are not merely stating a preference, you are activating a frequency that draws opportunities toward you. When you say, nothing ever works for me, you are also activating a frequency, one that repels possibility and reinforces stagnation. The universe responds to whichever truth you have chosen to affirm. Your spoken truth reveals what you truly believe. You may say you want wealth, but if your daily speech is filled with declarations of struggle, your spoken truth outweighs your desire. The universe is not moved by your longing, it is moved by your declaration. What you consistently give voice to becomes the truth the universe accepts as your request. If you declare I am always broke, you are making a request for more experiences of being broke. If you declare money flows to me easily, you are making a request for experiences that confirm that statement. The universe does not hesitate or delay. It simply delivers the reality that corresponds to your spoken truth. Think of the person who holds a lottery ticket and laughs nervously, saying, I never win, but maybe this time I'll get lucky. The truth they have spoken is not the hope, but the doubt. The universe hears I never win as the command, and fulfills it accordingly. Now think of the person who holds the same ticket, and says with quiet certainty, wealth flows to me in countless ways, and this is one channel among many. Their spoken truth is not desperation but alignment. The universe hears the vibration of certainty, and begins arranging circumstances, not only with the ticket but across their entire life, to confirm that declaration. This is not about superstition or magical thinking. It is about understanding how deeply connected your speech is to the reality you inhabit. Words spoken repeatedly, and with conviction impress themselves onto the subconscious mind. The subconscious then directs your behavior, your perception, and your focus in ways that make your declaration real. At the same time, those words vibrate outward, interacting with the field of possibility, drawing people, events, and outcomes that match them. The universe is like a mirror, and your spoken truth is the image it reflects back to you. Fearful speech has the same creative power as faithful speech. Someone who continually says, I always lose, I can't keep money, everything goes wrong for me, is giving commands to the universe, and those commands are faithfully carried out. It is not punishment, it is law. The universe cannot return to you anything other than what you have declared. The mirror cannot reflect an image other than the one placed before it. But the opposite is also true. Someone who consistently declares, I am wealthy, I am favored, I am a magnet for blessings, is also giving commands. The universe, with the same precision, delivers circumstances that confirm those words. You can feel the difference when you speak. Words of fear drain your energy, tighten your body, close your spirit. Words of truth and abundance lift you, expand you, and align you with possibility. This feeling is evidence of the law in action. The vibration of your words alters your state, and your state alters the way the universe interacts with you. Every declaration is both inward and outward, imprinting your mind and summoning your reality at the same time. This is why discipline in speech is so critical. To master your life, you must master your words. You cannot afford to speak casually about lack, defeat, or despair, because the universe does not treat those words as jokes. It treats them as orders. The universe does not measure intention, it measures vibration. What matters is not whether you meant the words lightly, but whether they carried belief. If you want abundance, your speech must align with abundance. If you want freedom, your speech must align with freedom. To speak otherwise is to divide your energy, sending mixed signals that produce confusion and delay. The universe is impartial. It is not swayed by emotion or desperation. It responds only to truth spoken with conviction. If your spoken truth is rooted in fear, it delivers more of what you fear. If your spoken truth is rooted in faith, it delivers more of what you desire. This is why those who complain continually experience more reasons to complain, while those who declare gratitude experience more reasons to give thanks. The universe is not random, it is exact. It listens to your voice, not your wishes.
Water brings wealth. The river flows, the rain falls, the ocean tides move, and in their rhythm lies the secret of prosperity. Water is the universal carrier of abundance, the invisible hand that nourishes fields, fills granaries, and quickens the life of nations. When water flows freely, there is fruitfulness, there is growth, there is wealth. When it is blocked, stagnation appears, and life becomes parched. The same law applies to the spirit, for man's life is also a stream, meant to circulate, to give, to receive, to flow without fear or resistance. Water teaches us that supply is endless. A drop may appear small, yet it is connected to the vastness of oceans. So too is every coin, every opportunity, every blessing. It is a drop connected to the infinite sea of abundance. The mistake of man is to see the drop and forget the ocean. He clutches the small and fears loss, yet the law of water declares as it flows out, more flows in. The spring that gives never runs dry, for its source is eternal. Wealth does not come by hoarding, but by circulation, just as rivers keep their purity by movement, not by standing still. Observe the farmer who trusts the rain. He scatters his seed in the dark earth, knowing water will awaken it. He does not dig it up in doubt, nor cry out in fear of drought, but lives in faith that the law of growth cannot fail. So it is with wealth. One must give with confidence, sow with certainty, and know that life returns multiplied. To withhold is to dry the ground of one's own harvest. To release is to invite the river of increase. Water also teaches the lesson of adaptability. It takes the form of the vessel it enters, whether a cup, a jar, or a mighty lake, yet it loses none of its essence. Wealth, too, is not limited to coins or notes. It may appear as ideas, opportunities, health, friendships, or doors opening at the right hour. When one insists it must come in only one form, one limits the stream. But when one allows it to take its own way, wealth appears in unexpected channels, as sure as rain finds its path to the sea. There is also cleansing in water. A rushing stream washes away the old leaves, the broken branches, the dust of yesterday. Prosperity comes when the channels of thought are cleared of fear, resentment, and doubt. Just as muddy water settles when undisturbed, so a mind at peace reflects the clear truth of supply. When the mind flows with gratitude, forgiveness, and expectancy, wealth rushes in as naturally as rivers to the ocean. Thus, water is the emblem of wealth itself, flowing, abundant, adaptable, purifying, and unending. To align with it is to step into the law of circulation, where giving and receiving are one, and the tide of prosperity never fails. Water symbolizes endless circulation of abundance. To understand this truth, one must look at the way water moves through the world, never ceasing, never clinging, always flowing from one form into another, and yet never diminished. It evaporates from the sea, rises into the clouds, falls as rain, seeps into the soil, springs up as fountains, gathers in rivers, returns to the ocean, and begins again. This cycle is unbroken, eternal, and generous, offering life to every living thing. The lesson is clear: abundance is not a possession to be grasped, but a flow to be entered. The moment one sees water as a mirror of wealth, the mind awakens to a higher law, the law that says supply cannot end. For it circulates in perfect rhythm, carrying prosperity wherever it moves. When one watches a river, one sees that it never worries whether there will be more water tomorrow. It simply flows, confident that the source is unceasing. In this same way, life asks us to trust that there is always more wealth, more opportunity, more good, ready to flow into our lives if we do not obstruct the channel. The human error is in believing that abundance is limited, that once spent it may not return. This belief dries the river of prosperity, for thought is the channel through which abundance flows. To think shortage is to dam the stream, but to think circulation is to invite the endless current of increase. Water teaches the fearless truth that there is no end to supply, for the source is infinite and eternal. Consider the ocean vast, immeasurable, teeming with life. Every river gives itself to the ocean, and yet the ocean is never full. Every wave that crashes on the shore is instantly replaced by another, and another, and another. So it is with wealth. Each gift, each act of generosity, each expenditure, when aligned with trust, returns multiplied. Because the source is not the coin or the hand that gives it, but the infinite reservoir behind it all. Just as the tide rises without effort, so abundance rises when one aligns with the truth of circulation. The wealth of the ocean is not hoarded but expressed, for it sends forth clouds to bring rain, which fills rivers, which return again. Thus, wealth moves in a circle, not a straight line. A stagnant pond, cut off from flow, becomes murky and lifeless, breeding decay. Yet a stream that flows freely sparkles with clarity and sustains multitudes. This too is the law of prosperity. When one clutches tightly, fearing to lose, wealth grows stale, opportunities dry up, and joy is replaced with burden. But when one allows giving and receiving to move in balance, life stays fresh, creative, and fruitful. Water never asks, "What if I give too much of myself?" It pours down from the clouds, it rushes across valleys, it seeps into roots, and still it is renewed. So also must man trust that in giving, he does not empty himself, but connects more deeply to the unending flow of abundance. Every culture has known the sacredness of water. Ancient temples placed fountains at their gates to symbolize cleansing and renewal. For they knew water carried more than refreshment. It carried the symbol of eternal supply. Farmers prayed for rain not only for their crops, but as a sign of divine favor, a reminder that the heavens were still open, that abundance was still flowing. Traders and merchants built their cities on rivers, knowing that flowing water meant flowing wealth. The pattern repeats across all ages and lands. Where water flows, prosperity blooms. This is not coincidence but law. For water is the visible expression of circulation, and circulation is the heartbeat of abundance. One may look also at the smallest drop, and still find the lesson. A single raindrop falls into a puddle, and creates ripples that expand outward without end. So it is with wealth. One act of generosity, however small, expands far beyond what the eye can see. It touches lives, creates opportunities, awakens gratitude, and returns multiplied. The one who sees this truth does not measure their giving by its size but by its flow. For a drop is not less significant than a river when connected to the source. The drop is proof that the ocean is near, just as the coin in one's hand is proof of infinite supply waiting to be released. The endless circulation of water also shows that abundance does not belong to one alone but to all. Rain falls on fields without choosing one over another. Rivers pass through nations without concern for boundaries drawn by men. The tide belongs not to one shore but to the entire earth. Likewise, wealth is not the possession of a few but the inheritance of all. For it flows through channels seen and unseen, touching each life in its own way. To claim monopoly over it is to resist its nature, but to recognize its universality is to align oneself with its true movement. In sharing, one enters the flow; in hoarding, one steps out of it. There is also the truth that water follows the path of least resistance. It does not argue with stone or mountain, but finds the way around, under, or through. In the same manner, wealth seeks the open channel. When the mind is filled with fear, doubt, and resistance, wealth cannot enter, for the channel is blocked. But when the mind is clear, trusting, and expectant, wealth flows as naturally as water down a slope. The law is effortless. Open the way, and the stream will find you. No forcing is needed, no struggle required. Abundance is not made but allowed, for it is already flowing, already moving, already seeking its outlet. To meditate on water is to meditate on wealth. Its endless circulation whispers the secret that life is not about accumulation but flow, not about holding but releasing, not about scarcity but endless supply. The rain that falls today has fallen for centuries past and will fall for centuries to come. nourishing countless generations. So it is with abundance. What sustains one will sustain another, for the source never runs dry. The one who understands this truth does not fear loss, for he knows there is always more, just as the river knows it will always be fed by the rain, and the rain knows it will always return from the sea. Wealth flows through giving, not hoarding. The very nature of abundance is movement, and when that movement is embraced, prosperity multiplies. When wealth is clutched tightly, when the hand is closed in fear of loss, circulation halts, and what was once living becomes stagnant. To give is to keep the channel open, to let the current of supply flow freely, knowing that in releasing one is not emptying but making space for greater increase. The one who understands this principle no longer fears generosity, for he knows that wealth, like water, must be poured out in order to return. A tree gives fruit without hesitation. It does not question whether the branches will again be heavy with harvest. It yields freely, season after season, because the law of growth is certain. So too must one give of wealth, talent, kindness, and service, knowing that every act returns in multiplied form. The soil does not resent the seed planted within it. It receives, nourishes, and returns a harvest far greater than what was sown. When one gives with trust, the same law is fulfilled, for giving is not loss but multiplication. Hoarding, on the other hand, is born of fear. It whispers that there may not be enough tomorrow, so one must grasp tightly today. Yet this very act of holding interrupts the flow, just as damming a stream can dry the fields downstream. A hoarded coin grows cold, locked away from circulation, unable to do its work. But a coin released into the world becomes bread on a table, clothing on a child, wages for a worker, profit for a merchant, and eventually, it circles back, carrying with it unseen blessings. The wealth that is given expands, but the wealth that is hoarded diminishes. One can observe this in nature. The clouds give rain to the earth, and the earth returns vapor to the skies. This eternal exchange sustains all life. If the clouds withheld their rain, the earth would wither, crops would fail, and even the clouds themselves would eventually disperse into nothingness. Giving keeps the cycle alive. In the same way, when wealth is circulated through generosity, investment, and trust, the cycle of abundance is maintained. When it is withheld, both giver and receiver suffer, for the chain of prosperity is broken. A farmer does not keep every seed in his storehouse, fearing famine. He knows that by planting he is not losing, but ensuring future harvests. Each seed released becomes many. Likewise, the wealth that is shared, whether in material form or in acts of service, multiplies in return. The one who gives from a heart of trust stands in harmony with the law of circulation. The one who withholds out of fear isolates himself from the very source of increase. True wealth is never about possession alone, but about movement. A river that flows enriches everything along its banks: trees, animals, villages, cities. A river that is blocked creates floods in one place and drought in another. The movement of wealth is meant to bring balance, nourishing lives, creating opportunities, building communities. The giver becomes a channel through which the abundance of life expresses itself. To refuse to give is to step outside of alignment with this universal principle. Even in the smallest act of giving, the law is present. A kind word given in sincerity may open doors of friendship that lead to unexpected blessings. A meal shared with another may ripple into gratitude that returns in ways unseen. A gift of money, when given without fear, may return in the form of a new opportunity, a profitable idea, or support at the moment it is most needed. Giving sets forces in motion that extend beyond the act itself. Hoarding stops those forces and isolates one from the living flow of prosperity. The heart knows this truth instinctively. There is a natural joy in giving, a sense of expansion, a feeling that life has grown richer in the very act of release. That joy is the soul recognizing alignment with universal law. Fear resists it, whispering that giving diminishes, but truth declares the opposite: giving multiplies. The open hand is never empty for long, for it invites the flow of new supply. The closed fist may seem secure, but it holds only what it already has, and no more can enter. History itself shows that societies that embraced circulation flourished, while those that hoarded crumbled. Cities that traded, shared, and invested in their people grew into centers of prosperity. Those that feared loss, withholding resources and clinging to wealth, became brittle and fell. The law of giving is not limited to individuals, but applies to nations, communities, and generations. Prosperity grows where circulation thrives. To give is also an act of trust. It acknowledges that wealth does not come from the coin in hand, but from the source behind it. The farmer trusts the earth. The sailor trusts the wind. The giver trusts the law of abundance. In that trust, doors open that would otherwise remain shut. Opportunities appear, assistance arrives, and wealth takes forms beyond expectation. Hoarding, by contrast, is an act of distrust, a denial of the infinite nature of supply. It limits vision, closes doors, and creates the very scarcity it fears. There is also an unseen dimension to giving. The energy of generosity multiplies in ways the mind cannot track. A gift given in love carries with it a vibration that attracts further love. An offering made in faith carries a magnetic quality that draws opportunities into the giver's life. Circulation is not merely physical but spiritual, touching realms beyond what the eye can measure. Wealth flows not just through currency, but through ideas, connections, inspiration, and timing. Giving activates this unseen network of return. Water does not ask where it flows, nor demand assurance that it will return. It pours itself out, knowing the cycle is eternal. In this, it teaches the law of giving. Wealth must move. It must be shared, invested, released into circulation. To do so is to honor the truth that abundance was never meant to stagnate. Every act of giving is like casting bread upon the waters, certain that it will return in multiplied form, carried by currents unseen. The more freely one gives, the more freely one receives, for life itself delights in circulation, and wealth is its instrument. Adaptability invites unexpected prosperity. Life, like water, does not demand rigid conformity but rewards flexibility and openness. Water flows effortlessly around obstacles, finding its path even when rocks block the way, cliffs rise before it, or valleys twist its course. It does not resist, it adjusts. It does not fret over how the journey will unfold, it simply moves, and in doing so sustains life wherever it travels. Wealth, like water, comes most easily to those who can adapt to circumstances, who are willing to flow with change, and who trust that the channels of opportunity can take forms beyond expectation. Resistance limits movement, but adaptability opens doors, creates pathways, and allows blessings to appear in forms that the rigid mind could never anticipate. When one clings too tightly to a single idea of what wealth should look like, one closes off the avenues through which prosperity might flow. The coin in hand, the job title, the fixed plan, the rigid schedule, these may all serve as obstacles if held with attachment. Life, in its infinite intelligence, delivers abundance in ways that the narrow mind might initially overlook. A change in career, a new friendship, an unexpected investment, a sudden move. All can bring wealth in ways that obey the universal law of supply, yet bypass the rigid expectations of the ego. Flexibility allows one to recognize these channels and step into them, whereas rigidity blocks the flow. Consider the river once again. It does not collapse when a boulder falls in its path. Instead, it curves, bends, and flows around, under, or even over the obstruction. It adjusts without hesitation, without complaint, without doubt. The river's flexibility is what allows it to reach the sea. In the same manner, prosperity flows to those who can adapt their plans, shift their perspectives, and embrace change without fear. Wealth often arrives in forms that are not immediately recognizable. Only a mind trained in adaptability can perceive the hidden gifts, opportunities, and unexpected avenues that life presents. Adaptability also requires courage. To release a fixed idea of what is necessary or acceptable is to step into uncertainty. Many fear the unknown, preferring the comfort of routine or the illusion of control. Yet the law of abundance requires movement, not stagnation. And life rewards the bold who can bend without breaking. The person who clings to outdated strategies, insists on one way of achieving success, or resists innovation may find wealth elusive, for prosperity is dynamic, ever-changing, and often appears in forms that challenge preconceived notions. Flexibility is not compromise, it is alignment with the flow of life. In practical terms, adaptability can take many forms. It may mean learning new skills to meet changing demands, shifting investments in response to economic currents, or approaching problems with creative solutions rather than fixed routines. It may involve changing one's mindset about what constitutes success, recognizing that wealth is not confined to material possessions, but may appear as knowledge, health, influence, or relationships. Each time one adjusts to circumstances rather than resisting them, one opens the door for unexpected prosperity to enter. Resistance, by contrast, creates friction that slows or halts the flow. The principle extends beyond personal action into relationships and communities. Businesses that thrive are those that respond to market shifts, consumer preferences, and technological innovation. Communities that prosper adapt to changing environmental, social, and economic conditions. Inflexibility leads to decline, whereas responsiveness and adaptability bring opportunity and growth. The same law applies individually. Those who embrace change, who adjust their attitudes, behaviors, and strategies, attract resources, ideas, and partnerships that they could not have anticipated. Adaptability also fosters creativity, which is a hidden form of wealth. When one is open to change, new ideas arise naturally. One sees solutions that were previously invisible, discovers opportunities in challenges, and turns obstacles into stepping stones. Wealth is not only a function of what is already known or possessed, but also of the ability to perceive and act upon possibilities. The adaptive mind is like a fertile field ready to receive seeds from unexpected sources. Rigidity is like barren soil, closed off to the flow of inspiration. Even in financial matters, the principle is clear. Investments that are diversified, plans that include contingencies, and approaches that allow for adjustment are more likely to yield returns than rigid, single-minded strategies. Opportunities often appear when least expected. A sudden offer, a chance meeting, a pivot in the market, and only those prepared to adapt can take full advantage. To insist that wealth must come through one narrow channel is to block other avenues and limit the potential for abundance. Flexibility creates room for surprise, serendipity, and expansion. The spiritual dimension of adaptability is equally powerful. Life rewards the flexible heart that can let go of attachment, release judgment, and accept the unknown. Wealth is not always in the form of material gain. It can appear as peace, joy, insight, or relationships. By being adaptable in expectation and open to life's unfolding, one allows these non-material forms of abundance to flow as freely as money or possessions. Resistance, worry, or insistence on a fixed form limits the richness of experience, while adaptability allows all forms of wealth to manifest. Even adversity contains the seed of prosperity when met with flexibility. A sudden loss, a change in circumstances, or a challenge that seems insurmountable can redirect the flow of life toward new avenues. Like water navigating a rocky gorge, those who bend with circumstances discover hidden streams, fertile valleys, and new routes to abundance. Those who resist become trapped, their energy dissipated in fruitless struggle, while those who adapt harness the same situation to create opportunity, growth, and reward. The law of adaptability emphasizes that prosperity is not a fixed destination but a dynamic flow. The mind that is willing to pivot, the heart that can release rigid expectations, and the hand that can take new forms of action align with life's current. Just as water nourishes every valley, it touches without demanding the landscape change to suit it. Wealth flows to those who can adjust without losing essence. Flexibility is not submission, it is mastery of circumstance. A conscious choice to work with life rather than against it, and the secret pathway through which unexpected prosperity travels. Through adaptability, the mind learns to see beyond limitation, the heart learns to embrace uncertainty, and the spirit discovers the endless avenues through which life expresses abundance. The one who can flow, bend, and adjust in alignment with opportunity does not merely survive. They thrive in ways that the rigid, the fearful, and the resistant cannot imagine. Each obstacle becomes a lesson, each challenge a guide, and each change a portal to wealth in forms that defy expectation. Clearing thoughts creates channels for supply. The mind, like a riverbed, must be free from obstruction for abundance to flow. When fear, doubt, resentment, or anger fill the mental landscape, wealth encounters resistance, and the current of prosperity slows or diverts entirely. Just as water cannot pass through a clogged channel, opportunities and blessings cannot reach the one whose mind is congested with negative thought patterns. The first step toward wealth is therefore not external effort alone, but internal clearing. A mind uncluttered, calm, and expectant becomes a natural conduit for abundance, drawing resources, ideas, and circumstances with ease and clarity. Thoughts are the invisible architecture through which the flow of supply travels. Every limiting belief acts as a dam, stopping the circulation of wealth. I am not enough. There is never enough. I do not deserve this. These statements form mental blockages that prevent resources from arriving. Each thought carries energy, and the repeated reinforcement of limitation shapes the environment to reflect those beliefs. Clearing the mind does not mean ignoring reality. It means aligning with the principle that the universe is abundant, and that supply is always available for those whose minds are open and receptive. Gratitude is one of the most effective tools for clearing the mental channels. When one focuses on what is already present and expresses appreciation, the mind shifts from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude acts like a gentle current, washing away the debris of negative thinking and opening space for new wealth to flow. The person who maintains a mental practice of acknowledgement and thanks finds that opportunities present themselves naturally, ideas appear, and help arrives in ways previously unseen. Without gratitude, even favorable circumstances may go unnoticed, and the channels remain partially blocked by the murk of discontent and complaint. Forgiveness is another essential aspect of clearing thoughts. Harboring resentment, anger, or judgment creates internal turbulence that blocks the smooth flow of prosperity. Just as a river slowed by fallen branches loses momentum and energy, the mind burdened with grudges resists the natural movement of supply. To forgive is to remove these obstructions, to allow energy to circulate freely, and to make room for blessings to enter. Forgiveness does not condone harm, it simply releases the mind from holding on to what no longer serves, creating space for new abundance to manifest. Visualization and focused intention also serve as tools for clearing the channels of thought. By picturing the desired outcome clearly and consistently, one aligns mental energy with the reality they wish to create. A clear image of wealth, success, or opportunity acts like a straight, open channel, allowing the currents of supply to move unhindered. Confusion, uncertainty, or vague intentions act as twists and turns in the channel, dissipating energy and slowing the flow. The power of focused thought lies in its ability to carve a path through the subconscious mind, removing obstacles and directing the current of abundance where it is most effective. Self-talk shapes the flow as well. The language one uses internally sets the tone for external manifestation. Words of limitation or fear constrict the mind's openness to supply. Positive, affirming language opens the mental space, much like clearing debris from a river but allows water to move freely. Statements such as, "I am capable of abundance," "Opportunities flow to me easily," and "I am worthy of prosperity," are not merely motivational. They are practical instruments for maintaining clear channels through which wealth can pass. The repetition of such affirmations strengthens the mental pathways, ensuring that supply meets no resistance. Mental clutter, doubt, and indecision act as sediments in the river of thought, slowing the current and creating turbulence. To clear these sediments, one must practice discernment, choosing which ideas, influences, and priorities to allow in the mind. Not every worry, not every opinion, not every fear requires attention. By letting go of unnecessary mental weight, the flow of wealth becomes stronger and more direct. This discipline of mental selection and focus ensures that resources are drawn efficiently and effectively, without wasted effort or misdirection. Meditation and reflection serve to clear and deepen the channels of thought. When the mind is quieted, free from constant chatter and distraction, one becomes aware of hidden blockages and can release them consciously. Meditation allows insight into the ways limiting beliefs shape behavior and perception, enabling corrective action. As the mind gains clarity, intuition becomes stronger and opportunities for wealth become more apparent. The stillness of a clear mind mirrors the smooth surface of a pond, reflecting abundance without distortion and attracting circumstances that align with that clarity. The principle extends to habits and routines as well. Mental and emotional clutter often stems from chaotic lifestyles, poor organization, or scattered attention. By cultivating habits that promote clarity, regular planning, reflection, prioritization, and rest, the mind remains open to the flow of supply. A structured and harmonious inner life translates into an external reality in which wealth is more easily recognized and captured. Just as a well-maintained channel allows water to move without obstruction, disciplined routines enable the natural circulation of abundance to continue uninterrupted. Surroundings influence mental clarity too. The environment, physical, social, and informational, contributes to the mental currents that either block or facilitate wealth. Surrounding oneself with negativity, conflict, or excessive noise clogs the channels, while environments that inspire, uplift, and support clarity enhance them. Careful attention to the quality of inputs, books, media, relationships, and experiences ensures that the mind remains receptive. Clearing thought involves both internal work and external awareness, creating a holistic space in which supply can flow freely. Faith and expectancy are powerful allies in this process. Belief in the availability of abundance, trust in the mechanisms of supply, and confidence in one's own worth remove unseen barriers. The mind cannot receive fully if it doubts the legitimacy of wealth or fears inadequacy. Faith acts like a cleansing current, sweeping away fear and reinforcing the openness required for prosperity. Expectancy keeps the channels alert, sensitive, and ready to receive, turning potential opportunities into realized blessings. Every act of generosity, kindness, and constructive contribution further clears mental channels. When one gives without fear, the energy of supply is reinforced. The mind, knowing that circulation brings return, releases tension and opens space for new ideas, resources, and opportunities. The more one aligns thought with the principles of flow and clarity, the more seamless the movement of wealth becomes. Each thought, word, and action either contributes to clarity or adds sediment to the channels, and conscious attention to this process ensures the unrestricted flow of supply. To clear thought is to harmonize with the natural law of abundance. The universe flows through mental channels, responding to openness, gratitude, forgiveness, focus, and trust. When these channels are clear, wealth moves as easily as water through an unobstructed river. Blocked thought creates scarcity, resistance, and frustration. Cleared thought creates opportunity, energy, and the effortless arrival of prosperity. A mind uncluttered is like a spring flowing freely, drawing from the infinite reservoir and nourishing life wherever it reaches. Gratitude aligns with the tide of increase. The simple act of recognizing and appreciating what is already present in life opens the mind and heart to receive far more than the eye can see. Gratitude is a powerful magnet for abundance because it shifts focus from scarcity to sufficiency, from lack to plenty. When the mind dwells on what it already possesses, it acknowledges the fullness of life, and in doing so, it signals the universe that it is ready to receive more. The energy of thankfulness is not passive. It is a dynamic force that attracts opportunities, wealth, and blessings in ways that logical planning or effort alone cannot achieve. The principle of gratitude is evident in nature. Trees, animals, and the seasons perform their work in harmony, responding to the cycles of life without complaint, without resistance. The soil receives rainfall, the sun nourishes plants, and each element contributes its part, creating abundance naturally. Humans, too, are designed to thrive when they recognize the gifts that already exist. By focusing on what is present rather than what is missing, the mind removes resistance and opens channels through which the flow of prosperity can move unhindered. Appreciation becomes a key that unlocks doors previously unseen. Gratitude transforms perception. When one sees each circumstance, person, and possession as a gift, the mind shifts from judgment to acceptance, from limitation to possibility. A grateful mindset perceives the hidden opportunities in challenges, the lessons in setbacks, and the value in simple moments. Wealth flows more easily to those who see abundance in the present, for they are no longer creating mental blocks of resistance or fear. Each expression of gratitude strengthens the connection to the universal supply, making it easier for resources to arrive and circulate. Daily practice of gratitude amplifies its effect. Taking time to consciously acknowledge blessings, whether large or small, trains the mind to expect more good in life. A simple routine of reflection, journaling, or spoken acknowledgement creates an internal rhythm that aligns with the law of increase. The mind begins to focus on solutions, possibilities, and the richness already present, rather than on deficits or limitations. This shift in focus alone produces a remarkable change in how abundance manifests, turning potential opportunities into tangible wealth. Gratitude also cultivates faith. When one appreciates what is already available, there is trust that the source of supply is reliable and unending. This faith removes doubt, which is one of the greatest obstacles to wealth. A person who is thankful for what they have implicitly trusts that more is available and that the universe will respond to alignment with its laws. The energy of faith reinforces the power of gratitude, creating a feedback loop in which expectation and appreciation amplify one another, drawing resources, ideas, and opportunities toward the individual. Even in difficult circumstances, gratitude has transformative power. Life does not always present what is desired immediately, yet focusing on what is present allows one to see avenues of increase that would otherwise be hidden. A challenging situation, when approached with thankfulness for the lessons it brings, becomes a stepping stone rather than a barrier. This mindset releases energy trapped in frustration or fear and redirects it toward creative solutions and fruitful action. Wealth is not merely the accumulation of money, it includes insight, opportunity, relationships, and experiences, all of which are attracted more readily when gratitude governs thought. The act of giving naturally flows from gratitude. When one appreciates the abundance already present, there is an impulse to share it with others. This sharing, in turn, circulates wealth and reinforces the principle that prosperity is not finite but dynamic. The energy of giving multiplies what is received, creating a flow of abundance that continually renews itself. Gratitude fuels this process by reminding the giver of the richness that already exists, allowing generosity to come from a place of fullness rather than fear. Each act of giving based on thankfulness becomes a channel through which more wealth is drawn into life. Gratitude also aligns the mind with opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. When a person is focused on appreciation, they become more sensitive to possibilities, relationships, and solutions that can enhance prosperity. A grateful mind notices doors opening, ideas arriving, and people willing to assist. In contrast, a mind that dwells on lack often misses these subtle signals, trapped in a narrow perspective. Thankfulness expands perception, enabling one to recognize and seize opportunities that are aligned with their desires and the natural flow of increase. In addition, gratitude enhances resilience. Life is full of uncertainties, and the path to wealth often involves challenges. Those who maintain gratitude remain grounded and centered even in the face of setbacks. By focusing on what is working and what is already abundant, the mind avoids being overwhelmed by obstacles and instead channels energy toward constructive action. This mental state is fertile for wealth creation because it combines optimism, focus, and alignment with the laws of abundance, producing outcomes that are both unexpected and substantial. Gratitude also attracts cooperation and assistance. People naturally respond to those who express genuine appreciation. Relationships flourish when gratitude is expressed, creating networks of support and collaboration that contribute to prosperity. The energy of thankfulness communicates openness and receptivity, inviting others to participate in the flow of abundance. In both personal and professional life, gratitude strengthens bonds, builds trust, and enhances the exchange of resources, all of which are essential for the continuous increase of wealth. The spiritual dimension of gratitude cannot be overlooked. Thankfulness aligns the individual with the infinite source of abundance. By acknowledging and appreciating what already exists, the mind harmonizes with the universal law that supplies all needs. This alignment opens channels that are otherwise blocked by fear, doubt, or attachment. The act of gratitude itself carries an energetic frequency that resonates with the rhythm of increase, drawing more of the same into the individual's life. The more consistently gratitude is practiced, the more natural and effortless the flow of wealth becomes, as the mind, heart, and spirit move in harmony with the principles of universal supply. Gratitude, when cultivated as a habitual attitude, transforms life into a magnet for wealth in all forms. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement, but a powerful tool that clears mental, emotional, and spiritual channels for abundance. Each expression of thankfulness reinforces the belief in sufficiency, encourages giving, enhances perception, and strengthens resilience. It creates a fertile environment where opportunities, resources, and ideas can enter freely, multiply, and return, feeding a cycle of continual increase. The practice of gratitude is therefore both a conscious discipline and a natural state that aligns the individual with the infinite tide of supply, ensuring that wealth is recognized, welcomed, and fully received. Every moment spent in genuine appreciation strengthens the alignment with the law of increase. The mind trained to see gifts in all circumstances is naturally open to new forms of wealth. It notices opportunities where others see obstacles, perceives solutions where others see problems, and attracts the support, guidance, and resources necessary to transform potential into reality. The energy of gratitude moves through thought, action, and intention, creating a dynamic flow that continuously reinforces and expands prosperity. The ripple effect of gratitude extends far beyond the individual. Families, communities, and even broader networks benefit when people practice thankfulness, for the energy of appreciation generates cooperation, kindness, and resourcefulness. Gratitude not only attracts wealth to the individual, but enhances the environment in which abundance can multiply. The act of recognizing blessings, expressing thanks, and sharing generously aligns one with a universal rhythm of increase, making prosperity both inevitable and continuous.
What if the hardest workers are not the richest people? This is a truth that the world of hustle and grind doesn't want you to know. You were taught that your reward is tied directly to your struggle, that more effort, more sacrifice, more pushing will equal more return. So you push, you strive, you run on a treadmill of relentless doing, your soul convinced that the breakthrough you ache for is just one more exhausting step away. And yet, you see them, the ones I call the spiritual millionaires, those who seem to build empires on a quiet idea, who attract opportunities with a magnetic, almost bewildering ease. They seem to move through life with a calm certainty, and abundance follows them like a shadow. It is not luck. It is not a privilege you were denied. And it is certainly not because they are better or more deserving than you. They are simply operating from a different law, a first principle. They have mastered an invisible technology of the soul that turns resistance into reception. They have learned how to get out of their own way. This is the profound secret the remarkable Florence Scovel Shinn revealed, not as a complex theory, but as a practical foundational key to unlock the treasury of the universe. So what is this principle? What do they know about the nature of reality that allows them to receive, while so many others are stuck striving? Stay with me. Let go of everything you think you know about making money, because we are about to recalibrate your entire relationship with abundance from the inside out. The core of this teaching, the very heart of this spiritual technology, is a fusion of two immense powers you already possess:
The first is the power of your word. The second is the power of your stillness. Florence Scovel Shinn stated it with a clarity that cuts through all confusion. She said, "There is nothing on earth that can resist an absolutely non-resistant person." Let that land in your spirit, not in your mind, which will want to argue and debate it, but in your spirit, which recognizes truth. Nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. Most of us, especially as women, have been taught the opposite. We've been taught to strive, to push, to prove, to earn our place, to fight for what we want. We have been conditioned to believe that our value and our rewards are directly proportional to the visible effort we expend. And so, we bring this energy of resistance into our relationship with money. We resist our current circumstances. We resist our debt. We resist the feeling of lack. We fight against it. We wrestle with it. We spend our precious life force in a battle against what is. But the universe does not operate on the principle of battle. It operates on the principle of resonance, of reflection. It is a perfect mirror. Whatever you resist, you are tethered to. Whatever you fight, you feed. Your resistance, your anxiety about money, your frantic need for it to be different right now sends a powerful signal out into the field of infinite possibility. And that signal says, I am in a state of lack. I am in a state of fear. I do not trust that I will be provided for. And the universe, in its infinite and impersonal love, simply says, as you wish, and reflects that state of lack and fear back to you in your circumstances. The first part of the secret, then, is the law of non-resistance. It is the conscious, deliberate choice to stop fighting reality, to stop wrestling with your present moment. But this is not passive resignation. It is not giving up. Oh no. That is where the second power comes in, the power of your word. As Florence taught, man's word is his wand, filled with magic and power. Your word is the rudder that steers the great ship of your life. While non-resistance calms the stormy seas of your own anxiety, your spoken word sets the divine destination. This is the common mistake. So many people try to use affirmations and declarations while their entire being is vibrating with resistance. They shout into the wind, "I am wealthy," while their heart is screaming, "But I'm terrified, I won't pay my rent." The universe doesn't hear the loud, desperate words. It feels the quiet, powerful vibration of the heart. The millionaire's first principle is the masterful combination of these two forces: to declare your destination with unshakable, quiet conviction, and then to enter a state of absolute non-resistance, a state of profound trust that the currents of life are now carrying you directly to it. It is the art of allowing, not forcing. It is the science of speaking and then letting go. This is the forgotten path to abundance. Not through struggle, but through surrender to a higher law. Let's make this real. Let's bring it down from the ethers and walk it through the hallways of your life. Picture a woman we'll call Amelia. Amelia is brilliant. She's talented, she's dedicated, and she wants a promotion at her creative agency more than anything. She deserves it. She's put in the hours, she's done the work, she's exceeded every metric. So she begins to practice what she thinks is manifestation. She writes on her mirror in lipstick, "I am the new creative director." She visualizes herself in the corner office, feeling the plush carpet under her feet. She says her affirmations in the car on the way to work, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. But watch her energy. Observe her spirit. She walks into the office, and her eyes immediately dart around, searching for signs. Did her boss smile at her in a particular way? Was that email from the CEO a good omen or a bad one? She sees a coworker laughing with the head of the department, and a cold knot of dread forms in her stomach. Are they talking about someone else for the role? She checks her email obsessively. She replays conversations in her head, dissecting every word. She is a detective searching for clues, but the only crime is the one she's committing against her own peace. Her body is a landscape of resistance. Her shoulders are tight. Her jaw is clenched. Her breath is shallow. She is affirming abundance with her mouth, but she is screaming scarcity with her entire nervous system. She is holding the thought of the promotion in a chokehold. She is trying to force the universe's hand. Her energy is one of grasping, of needing, of deep, profound mistrust. She is resisting the present moment with every fiber of her being. And that resistance creates a static field, a vibrational barrier that the very thing she desires cannot penetrate. The universe wants to deliver, but it cannot find a clear signal. It cannot land on a frequency of frantic anxiety. Now imagine the shift. Amelia learns about the law of non-resistance. She learns that her work is not to make it happen, but to allow it to happen. So she changes her practice. In the morning, she stands before her mirror. She takes a deep, slow breath. And she speaks her word, not as a desperate plea, but as a calm, settled decree. The divine design of my life is now coming to pass. The perfect position for me, the one of my highest good, is now made manifest. I am divinely guided, and all doors now fly open. She speaks the words, and then she lets them go. She releases them, like letting a bird go from her hands. She gives the order to the infinite intelligence within her and around her, and she trusts that the order has been received. She walks into her office, and instead of scanning for signs, she focuses on her work. She finds joy in a project. She offers a kind word to a colleague. She doesn't ignore her desire for the promotion, but she is no longer chained to it. She has become non-resistant to the outcome. She has decided that her peace, her wholeness, is not contingent on that job title. Her peace is here, now. If she feels a wave of anxiety, she doesn't fight it. She acknowledges it. She breathes into it. And she gently reminds herself, I have cast my burden. I go free. She has flipped the energetic switch. From a place of needing, she has moved to a place of knowing. From forcing to allowing. From resistance to release. Her entire being now radiates a quiet confidence, a grounded trust. She has become a vacuum for her good because she has cleared out the static of her own fear. And then, one Tuesday afternoon, her boss calls her in. The conversation is easy. It's natural. It feels inevitable. The promotion was always hers. It was just waiting for her to get out of her own way. This is not magic. This is spiritual law. Think of it in your own life, the relationship you so deeply desire. Do you go on dates with an energy of auditioning a partner, your heart braced for disappointment? That is resistance. You are resisting your current state of being single, and in doing so, you are radiating the very vibration of lack of a partner. The universe can only match the signal you send. True magnetism is born when you become non-resistant to your own wholeness, right now. When you fall so deeply in love with your own life, your own company, that your radiance becomes an irresistible invitation, not a desperate plea. Think of debt. When you look at your bills with terror, with a knot in your stomach, you are resisting them. You are energizing the very condition of debt. Non-resistance isn't ignoring the bills. It is looking at them, acknowledging them, and then turning your full, powerful attention to the truth. Infinite intelligence is my unfailing supply. All my needs are met, and there is a divine surplus. You pay your bills with a blessing, knowing that money is simply energy, and as you release it with trust, you open the channel for more to flow in. The millionaire's secret is not a secret at all. It is an open law. It is the understanding that what you seek is not found in the fight. It is found in the faith that follows the word. Here is a truth that may feel startling at first, but it is the key to your absolute freedom. You are already a master of this law. You have been using it perfectly your entire life. Your current reality, in all its detail, is a flawless manifestation of your most dominant spoken and unspoken words and your most persistent states of resistance. Take a gentle, honest look around you. Your relationships, your bank account, your health, your home. They are not random. They are not a punishment or a reward from an external God. They are a feedback system. They are the physical printout of your inner consciousness. If your life feels like a struggle, it is because you have been holding the belief and speaking the words of, "Life is a struggle." You have been resisting ease. If your finances feel constricted, it is because you have been holding the vibration of constriction. You have been speaking the language of not enough. You have been resisting the flood of abundance with dams of fear and doubt. This realization is not for shame. It is for power. It is the moment you stop being a victim of your circumstances and realize you have been the creator of them all along. It's the moment the puppet realizes it holds the strings. Imagine your subconscious mind, the great, powerful engine of your reality, is like a fertile garden, and your conscious thoughts and words are the seeds. For years, perhaps without realizing it, you have been planting seeds of worry, doubt, and fear. And the garden has faithfully produced a harvest of worrisome, doubtful, and fearful experiences. You have been a perfect gardener. Now, you simply choose to plant new seeds. This is not about fighting the weeds of the old patterns. You don't get rid of weeds by screaming at them. That just gives them more energy. You simply, calmly, stop watering them. You turn your attention, your focus, your life-giving water to the new seeds you wish to grow. Seeds of trust, seeds of abundance, seeds of ease. You are already an expert at this. You have unimpeachable proof that the law works. Your life is that proof. Now, you will simply use this power consciously. You will use it for your liberation. You will use it for your joy. You will use it for your divine inheritance of abundance. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are a creator who is simply, finally, reading the instruction manual. And the first instruction is to recognize the power you have already been wielding. So how do we begin? How do we take this profound truth and weave it into the fabric of our days? It begins not with a grand gesture, but with a small, sacred shift in your daily rhythm. I want to offer you 3 simple, sacred steps, a daily practice to cultivate this millionaire's mindset, which is ultimately a mindset of divine trust. This practice is the embodiment of the great principle: speak the word, then enter non-resistance. Step 1. The sacred declaration. Each morning, before the world rushes in, find a moment of stillness. It doesn't have to be long, just a moment to connect with yourself. Take one deep, cleansing breath, and then speak your word. This is not a wish. It is not a hope. It is a declaration of what is already true in the realm of spirit, now making its way into form. Choose a statement that resonates with your soul. Speak it aloud if you can. Let the vibration of the words fill the room. Feel them in your chest, in your throat. This is your divine decree. Step 2. The act of release, which we call divine indifference. This is the millionaire's master stroke. This is the heart of non-resistance. After you have spoken your word, you must release it completely. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that you must develop a state of divine indifference. This is a calm, sacred detachment, a spiritual trust so deep it no longer needs constant proof. This does not mean you don't care or that you've become apathetic. It means you care so much that you refuse to contaminate the outcome with your fear and doubt. It is an active, powerful state of trust. Imagine you have a loyal, infinitely powerful, and resourceful servant. You give this servant a clear, precise order. Go and prepare my abundant future. Once you have given the order, what is your job? It is to trust the servant. You don't follow them around, wringing your hands, asking, "Are you sure you know the way? Are you doing it right? When will it be ready? To do so would be an insult to the servant's power. It would sow confusion and delay the result. Your job, after giving the order, is to go about your day in peace, to be indifferent to the how and the when, because you have unshakable faith in the what. This is divine indifference. It is casting your burden, your desire, onto the creative power of the universe, and then you go free. You free yourself from the need to control, to manage, to worry. This is the deepest form of faith. Step 3. The active gratitude. Throughout your day, the final step is to water your newly planted seed. You do this through gratitude, not just for what you have, but for what is on its way. Feel the feeling of your answered prayer. If you have declared that your perfect home is on its way, feel the gratitude of walking through its front door. Feel the sun on your face through its windows. Generate the emotional signature of the desire fulfilled. This is not fantasy. This is vibrational alignment. Gratitude is the frequency of receiving. It tells the universe, "Thank you, I have received it." And the universe, which only knows the present moment, rushes to make that feeling of having received a physical fact. So your practice becomes a simple, sacred rhythm. First, you declare and speak your truth into being. Next, you release by practicing that divine indifference and trusting the process completely. And finally, you open yourself to receive by aligning your heart with the feeling of your prayer already answered through active gratitude. To help you begin, you might choose one of these truths or let them inspire your own. To call in overall abundance, you can declare, "My supply comes from God, and my great, unexpected good now comes to pass." To release the heavy burden of financial worry, you can affirm, "I am free from the burden of forcing outcomes. I cast my burden upon the Christ within, and I go free to receive." And to clear away old blocks and align with your highest purpose, you can speak this powerful decree. "Every plan my Father has not planned is now dissolved and dissipated. The divine design of my life now comes to pass." Practice this daily, with gentleness, with sincerity. This is not another chore on your to-do list. This is a sacred act of remembering who you are. As you begin this practice, as you start to consciously plant new seeds in the garden of your mind, be prepared. The journey inward often creates a temporary stir in the world outward. Do not be discouraged. When you first declare your divine abundance and trust, you may be met with what Florence called adverse appearances. An unexpected bill may arrive, a client may pull out, the car might break down. The rational mind, a ego, will immediately scream, "See, it's not working, this is foolish." But I want you to understand this from a higher perspective. This is a powerful sign of success. Imagine your life is like a river that has been flowing in one direction for years, the direction of lack or struggle. When you make a powerful new declaration, you are building a dam and commanding the river to flow in a new direction, towards abundance and ease. What happens at first? There is turbulence. The old current pushes against the new direction. Debris from the riverbed gets kicked up, old fears, old beliefs, old patterns. This is the clearing. The old energy must be flushed out to make way for the new. That unexpected bill is not a sign of failure. It is the debris of an old belief system being washed away. See it not as a setback, but as a confirmation that your word is powerful enough to stir the very foundations of your reality. Breathe through it. Stand firm in your new truth. When the adverse appearance shows up, do not give it your power. Do not resist it. Acknowledge it and calmly speak your truth again. "This has no power over me. Only my word has power. My supply is infinite, and my great good is on its way." You are flipping a circuit in your mind. At first, there may be sparks. The lights might flicker. This is normal. You are rerouting decades of energetic programming. Be gentle with yourself. Be patient. You are planting seeds in new soil. For a time, it looks like nothing is happening. All the work is being done underground, in the dark, in the quiet. A root system of faith is being established. If you dig up the seed every day to check on it, you will kill it. Your job during this phase is to trust the process, to practice your divine indifference, to water the unseen seed with your gratitude and your faith. The outer world is the very last thing to change. The inner shift comes first. Celebrate the feeling of peace. Celebrate the moment you catch yourself from falling into an old worry pattern. Celebrate the feeling of trust. These are the true signs that your millions, whether of money, of joy, of love, or of peace, are on their inevitable way to you. The outer manifestation is simply the last step in a process that has already succeeded within. So, we come to the end of our time together, but to the beginning of your conscious creation. Here is the ultimate truth I want to leave you with today. You are not broken. You were never broken. You are not someone who needs to be fixed. You are a powerful, divine creator who is simply remembering the laws of your own being. This journey is not about adding something to you that you do not have. It is not about becoming someone you are not. It is an excavation. It is the gentle clearing away of the dust and debris of fear, doubt, and false teaching, so that the radiant, infinitely abundant soul you already are can finally shine through. The millionaire's first principle is not about a number in a bank account. It is about a state of consciousness. It is about a sovereign state of trust. The money, the opportunities, the success, they are just the natural, inevitable byproducts of this inner alignment. This is the millionaire's first principle. It begins not with striving, but with speaking, not with fighting, but with faith, not with chasing, but with choosing to become a clear channel for what is already yours. Today you stand at a crossroads, a point of choice. You can continue down the well-worn path of resistance, the path of striving, forcing, worrying, and controlling, the path that has given you the exact results you have now. Or you can choose a new way. You can choose the path of the awakened creator, the path of the sacred word and divine indifference, the path of allowance, of trust, of non-resistance, the path where you allow the universe in all its love and infinite intelligence to serve you, to support you, to surprise and delight you. The choice is yours. It is made not in a year or a month, but in this very moment, with your very next breath. My invitation to you is to anchor this choice, to make it real. Declare your new allegiance in the comments below so that your word may go out into the world. Leave a comment and declare, "I am a master of divine indifference." Let that be your first act of conscious declaration. And as you go forward from this space, I leave you with one final question to carry in your heart, a question that holds the key to your next great leap. What is the one thing you are finally ready to stop resisting today?